Welcome to the show. Today we have a very special guest with us, Johnny Lektrik. He is a director, writer, and producer responsible for projects like Intergalactic News, Snake Pit, and Zombie Rage. Johnny, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Tell us what inspired you to delve into the world of film and directing.
My brain is just constantly exploding with ideas and stories. And how I guess it works is that something pops in my head and then I just keep like daydreaming about it. Like I daydream a lot. So if it's a good idea, then it sticks. I'm like, oh, then this could happen, and then that could happen. And then when I get home, I'll write it up, write an outline. Then the outline turns into like more paragraphs. Then it turns into a breakdown, act 1, act 2, act 3. Now all of a sudden you're writing a script, and then you're figuring out who could act in it, where are the locations. But being someone with like pretty much no budget, or except whatever's left over after my paychecks, because I pay for everything, and it's not a lot, I keep that in mind when I'm writing. Because like, oh, it'd be great if you could have a car chase and do this and that. Like, well, you can't have a car chase. Like, either got to be on foot or something. Or
you got to use your own car.
Yeah, well, you got to think realistically, right? Like, you can have this great idea that, oh, this would be amazing, but like and I've been grounded enough because I know my limitations that like you can't have like a crowd of 50 people. That'd be nice for like, a rave scene or something like that. But yeah, you got to just think realistically. Yeah. So if like the idea sticks and it keeps bouncing around, then I just end up like, I'm not one of those people that, let's just say there's a lot of people that have good ideas, and I'm sure you've encountered some like, this would be a great movie or whatever, and like that does sound like a great movie, but then you got to like stick to it and hit the landing. And even if it's not what you originally thought it would turn out to be, which is usually the case, unless you got money, right? And even then, I'm sure they're disappointed sometimes, because like money, like the people with the money can shift your idea around. Like I've heard a lot of stories from like successful people in Hollywood that they, they have to bend the knee because the producers have the money, but it's like sacrificing your creative vision or whatever. So I guess you can never really win unless it's like in-house produced and you're like the money.
Like I've known you for a long time, obviously. Probably 25, 30 years.
Yeah, pretty randomly. Yeah,
one of the oldest people I've known.
Yeah.
But when did you start doing all this film stuff?
In high school, really. I started at, what's a shame is that we were the generation like before YouTube, and me and my buddies, like in grade 9, I got a camera for Christmas from I think my grandma or my mom or something, like pretty good camcorder, and we were recording skits and lots of things. And with the group of friends I had, like we weren't really into partying that much. That came later after high school, where I hit the rave scene and like had a blast. But no, in high school we weren't really nerds, but like we weren't like the cool kids. We were like whatever. We were cool with everybody, so we weren't like cliquey or whatever. But we just kind of kept to ourselves and did these skits and shit. And but then I guess as time goes on to grade 11, grade 12, things shift, I guess, and then we didn't keep up with it, unfortunately. And it's a shame, because if there's something like YouTube that was egging us on, like, oh, throw it up, see what happens, throw it up, see what happens. And that was before our time. And so then I kind of fell out of that. And after high school, I kind of got into the like first couple of raves and stuff. And then I like was inspired to pursue music. So then I kind of left the whole...
Did the jungle thing.
Yeah. Because my real name's John Gell.
Yeah.
And then it hit me one day that like if you just put the two words together and pronounce them slightly different, you get the John Gell. And at the time, like The Rock was really big, and I just thought that was kind of cool, like to be like the something, The Rock, the whatever, and like the jungle. But then at the time, I was working for like Crystal Sound and other like top 40 type DJ companies that would send you to a venue or whatever. It wasn't what I really wanted to do, but it was still fun. And even doing like 80s night at the D Machine, I wasn't spinning jungle. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, that is a genre.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was like, well, I wish they didn't use that word for that genre.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it. Like, that could have been, like, my genre of, like, whatever I was going to do. So then I just dropped it. And then when I was in New York, I guess I should backtrack slightly. I got family in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I had a really amazing opportunity after high school at some point. My chronology is, like, really messed up, though, because of perhaps like, well, I don't want to say decades, but like years of smoking things and
Yeah.
whatever. So, and I didn't keep a diary, so like, I don't know exactly the timeline, but
Yeah.
I've been back and forth to New York a lot because I had this opportunity to stay at my aunt's place. She's a teacher that retired, and so she's single and divorced or whatever, and so she would like travel the world. And it was a scenario where I could like watch her apartment and feed her cats.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the
Nobody
turtle.
gets that, eh?
No, and that's why I've been dealing actually with some pretty harsh depression to climb out of, because last year was the 10-year mark of like the last time I've been to New York, in 2012 when I got my tattoo.
Yeah.
And so it was just really depressing to think back that like I fucked up. Like you only get this opportunity.
Yeah, I haven't been to Toronto since like 2012 either.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I used to go there all the time for family,
Yeah.
but lately I just go west all the time.
Oh yeah, you got really big into the Shambhala stuff,
Yeah.
right? And like, and those people, West Coast.
Yeah, different festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Shambhala once. That was pretty amazing.
But yeah, I want to get back out east. That'd be nice.
Yeah, yeah, me too, man. I'd love to see everywhere, but the powers that be are about to make it a lot more complicated. I have a feeling. Oh yeah, definitely. The digital IDs that are on their way,
Oh, yeah.
and the globalist agenda to.
Do you think it's actually happening?
Oh, for sure.
Have you heard any news about it?
Yeah, oh yeah. There, one thing that I think a lot of people need to pay more attention to is the WEF,
Okay.
the World Economic Forum.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, the people in Davos, the elites, the globalists, because they've got plans for us that if they were upfront, and if everyone knew like what the steps are for what they want to get us to, there'd probably be a revolution overnight. I'm certain like people would not be down for what's on the horizon.
I was hearing a lot more about it before, like even a year ago, but lately I haven't really heard too much, right?
They're still having their meetings
Probably
once a
still
year.
happening, yeah.
Yeah, the whole bullshit. I don't know where you stand or whatever, but like the whole the climate is changing for sure, but this happens just throughout history. Climate, it changes, it shifts. But a lot of these billionaires are buying lakeshore property, and even lately, a lot of these billionaires are building bunkers on islands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't believe what they're saying. They're saying, "Oh, the sea's going to rise, the sea level's going to rise, and this and
Yeah,
that."
follow the money, right?
Yeah, and like, well, if you're so concerned, then why the hell are you like investing in like, seaside
Well,
property?
sea levels must be rising or something, right?
Well, I'd say they're not putting their money where their mouth is. Like if they're so concerned about everyone's got to watch their carbon and this and that, then how about you do Zoom meetings instead of flying on your private jet?
Oh yeah, the carbon
Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
argument.
they don't give a shit about the carbon. That's just a way to, I think, to ultimately enslave the human race into, microchipped population, restricted travel of where you can go. One thing though that I think, I hope that I'm wrong, but it seems like this is the next move with all of the, well, who knows if they're going to actually release all the Epstein stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg with what these billionaires do for fun. The ultimate aphrodisiac. Like if you have so much money, the best thing beyond that is power, right? Like power over people.
Yeah.
I think that's why they really get off on like banging like little kids or whatever the fuck they're doing. But like
That's
lot
what
of them,
Epstein was doing, like controlling people through like blackmail
yeah,
or something.
yeah, whether he's Mossad or CIA or a double agent or whatever, but I'm sure there's tons of other Epsteins out there, but he was just
I can't get over the Stephen Hawking aspect, though.
that's
like,
weird.
Like,
Yeah.
I was talking to Amber about this earlier. Like, do you think Stephen Hawking was creepy, or is it just that multiple people went there for different reasons, or did everybody go there for the same reason?
Right.
Right.
And well, funny thing is, there's evidence. The FBI's been sitting on all this footage for what, like 5 years or more. They know who was there. They know everything. Like it could be leaked, and like the whole world would be turned on its side if like all these celebrities and politicians that go on TV and pretend to be good people and this and that are actually like monsters that like at the very least bang little kids, but I'm sure they do worse than that. Like if they're doing that on some island, no one's going to do anything.
Bohemian Grove or something.
Well, if you just want to kill them after or something like that, so they don't speak or tell their story or whatever. I'm sure a lot of them, like the world is a very dark place. I'm extremely cynical about like everything, like how never trust the government again. Even the medical establishment, the media is completely corrupted and centralized and controlled. Like it's insane that Project Mockingbird I'm sure you've heard of that with the CIA.
I've heard of it. I can't remember which that is
Like,
though.
well, it was, I think it was as far back as like the 60s or something like that, where the CIA, there's something that was released. I can't remember if it was in some Senate hearing or something like that, where they admitted that there was agents that were within Hollywood and the media that are there to push certain agendas or persuade the public to accept certain things and whatnot. And a lot of these things, like even MK Ultra, if they were messing with this stuff like 50 years ago, can you imagine how advanced it is now? Like, it's got to be insane. They haven't stopped. It's not like they've like learned enough and they're like, oh well.
That's like Manchurian Candidate stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They, like,
Yeah.
call you up and say
Yeah.
Ace of Spades or whatever.
Do you want to know? Have you heard of the drug Devil's Breath?
I don't think so.
There's a technical term for it. It's like a long, like method something,
Okay.
duloxetine or whatever. One of those like long,
right.
word salads. But it's derived from like a plant in somewhere in South America. And you should, if you remember this, or even anyone that watches this, Google it. And there's some documentaries on it. It's wild. It sounds like some Aladdin shit like Jafar would have or something, because basically what it does is it's like an odorless and tasteless substance that you can grind into powder, and you can sprinkle in someone's drink, or even if they whiff it, like you can blow it in, like literally like the shit you see in like movies where it's like it's magic, and you can like control somebody, but it's legit. Like, you can persuade them to do whatever. You could just suggest, well, let's go to the bank. Let's go to the bank. You'll take out money. Yeah, we'll take
That's
out
probably
money.
similar to like that truth. Give them something and they say the truth.
Yeah, I guess.
Something like that. I don't know.
If that's real. Well, this is essentially that.
Yeah.
Because they're able to walk and talk, and they don't seem like they're drugged.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about this. Yeah, like in different countries, they would do that and say like, "Yeah, let's go to your ATM."
Yeah,
and, exactly.
prostitutes would use that to rob people. That's one of the documentaries I saw in South America, where a lot of these prostitutes would rob their johns using this stuff. Because, you sprinkle in their drink, go to the ATM, they wave at the guy at the hotel, everything's normal.
Yeah.
And then they're taking out their life savings, and then she's gone. You don't remember her name. Because also when it wears off, apparently you start to get really cloudy or whatever with and you kind of don't remember what.
Can't remember what you did.
Yeah, but then there it is on camera, and the CIA has been synthesizing this sort of stuff, and like they're not stopping what they're doing. So I can only imagine how advanced it is now.
That's literally like mind control. There,
yeah, and it's like magic. It's literally, because that sounds bogus. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't just suggest something to someone. Like, I know there's hypnotists that can allegedly. I'm still.
I think you have to be open to the hypnotism, right?
Yeah,
like, that's the thing. Like,
yeah, but this is like, it's pure, like it's a substance. It's like an actual thing you ingest. So there's some kind of science to it. Oh, sorry about the thing, but yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, man. Like, as interesting as it is, it's like frightening as hell, because we're controlled. Well, the world is run by like evil people.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people on the planet are good people. Like, probably 80% of people, I believe, are like pretty good, or at least 70% or so. Like, but the ones that are like in control are snakes. Like, they they pretend to be one thing on cameras and tricks a lot of
Do you think
people.
it's that low, like 70%? It's probably like 99% of people are good. And there's like this
maybe.
small elite, maybe.
I guess so. I don't.
We don't really know the numbers, but I would hope it's more than 70, right?
I would hope so too.
It's like almost most of the people are terrible.
Yeah,
Not quite all of them, but
I don't know, because I've just been so cynical with the world lately, and with people making bad decisions. But it's also like I guess the climate that we're being raised in now. Like, it's just morals and it's just gone out the drain. Before you could, like, your word was your bond. You shake and you look the man in the eye, and like that was as good as a contract. And now, like, people, swipe left, swipe right, and they're not gonna, they say they're going to your event or something, and
yeah.
I don't know. It's just, that's just a stupid example, but even just like with people not following through with what they, just being impeccable with your word is like I think one of the best things you can
Is that
do.
one of like the 4 agreements or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. I didn't even
I don't know what
that.
the other ones are, but do no harm.
Yeah, something like that. Tell the truth.
Tell the
or
truth,
something.
yeah, something like that.
Be impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wipe before you flush.
There you go.
Or something.
So you try to incorporate a lot of those themes like into your work with film and stuff like that. Have you been working on stuff recently? Like
Oh
anything on
yeah,
the go?
there's no stopping
Yeah.
what's going on.
What's happening now?
Well, we're editing a film called Zombie Kid.
Okay.
That was basically it was a concept suggested to me by a friend of mine that was on Snake Pit.
I saw the trailer, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, probably.
Greg was showing me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's probably going to be the best thing we've ever done. It's almost 30 minutes, and it's a comedy, but there's some serious moments in the third act. And basically, it's about like a clueless babysitter that has to deal with a kid that's been bit by a zombie.
Micah.
Yeah, Mika. Yeah, my girlfriend, who I met.
So is it done now? Done editing? Or are you guys still working on it?
It's pretty much done. There was a fight sequence that a friend of mine, Tim Woodman, that you know, he did a
DJ
great
Tripwave.
job. Yeah, he did a wicked job doing this like 60-second fight scene that's in the kid's imagination,
Okay.
where he fights a monster. And then it's so basically, long story short, it's up to Mika to finish the color correction. That's kind of her forte. She does editing like myself, and but then we're trying to also finish this short film that we did last winter that kind of turned into like a nightmare. It's called Frigid Inferno, which was actually the first time we were trying something serious about a short film about a couple of girls that it's not reinventing the wheel in any manner or whatever, but like we kind of leaned into certain tropes that you would see in a film, like three girls have their car broke down, they seek refuge at this creepy guy's old house. It's the only house around in miles, and then one by one they end up getting killed, and there's a demon that's been resurrected because the old man, you find out his kid got hit by a car like a year ago. So in trying to bring his son back, he accidentally brought back something else. And this thing's running around in the woods and it's killing them and stuff. There's one thing that I deeply regret that we weren't able to do, though, that kind of botched the whole thing. I wanted the demon to have a face that's like contorting and constantly shifting. So it doesn't really have a real face.
That'd be hard to do on a budget end.
Yeah, but it's just that we fucked up with the lighting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really have a good DOP. There's so many things that went wrong with this. But his intentions, like he wasn't trying to sabotage us.
Yeah, he did his best.
And he did come through in the final hour where everything was going to fall apart, and he did step up, and he did try. But, you know, hell's paved with good intentions.
Yeah, Tim had to do a lot of work to recover all that.
Yeah, well, and me too. Well, so Tim helped with the ADR.
Yeah.
We had to re-record all the actors saying their lines again.
Jeez.
And then I have the task of trying to lip sync them together. And then I'm going to send it back to Tim to try to add like room tone or make it seem like it's proper. But that was such a
Foley or whatever.
Yeah, because we had our boom guy, and we've had him for all the projects, and it's been fine. But then this guy that was helping us tried to do something different,
And all the levels were clipped and
it was
unusable.
and they're different. They're meshed into different.
I had an interview like that
traps
too.
and
Someone interviewed me, and all the levels were like super clipped. And there's only the one audio, right? So
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why it's good to have backups.
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Right. Always have backups because
Yeah.
you can never rely on just one thing.
Well, yeah, that was my mistake with that last episode. Almost the reason why we didn't do any more podcasts, because the last episode I thought I was recording on OBS. I wasn't. I thought it was recording on Twitch, which it wasn't. And so I had a moment in the interview where I went, oh, it's not recording. I said, oh, well, it's probably recording on Twitch, so we're good. Let's just keep going. And I could have hit record at that moment, but I didn't because I thought I was good over here.
Right.
And I didn't want the half recording.
Right.
But turns out I had 0. So it would have been better just to get the half recording. Yeah. But then it turns out we got it behind the scenes, so that was kind of nice.
Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're recording there.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
there
yeah.
and there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I started it like when you were like, I'm 10 minutes away. I was like, just start it now. I can't lose. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's smart.
But we're not live, which is nice, so we can edit parts out
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. But every project you live and you learn, like, or at least you should, otherwise you're gonna keep fucking up.
Yeah.
But that was a huge eye opener for what not to do, and it was super cold in that time of the year, where it was like I think it was like minus 30 to 40 with the wind chill, and we were out like in the the woods and with the snow and my girlfriend Mika is one of the main characters, and she was like just getting over COVID and was still sick, and she had to like crawl around in the snow and stuff because we couldn't reschedule. I was like, to line up everyone's schedules and they're all volunteering is like is half the battle. Like you can have a decent story, but then like you got to schedule, and then if they can only do it that weekend and you're sick, sorry, like And also a lot of her stuff was like one take, and it's a shame, I guess, was when you're working with next to no budget, you kind of just have to take what you can get.
Yeah.
And if it's only one take, that is what it
That's
is.
the take, yeah.
Yeah, or sometimes people show up and like we've told them we need you for the day, and then they're like, "Oh, I gotta leave at 3 because my something's whatever, some bullshit."
Well, you're not really going for like hyper realism either. Like there's a bit of like
It,
what's it called? Like a parody almost aspect of it all. Like there's
Yeah.
this comedy and
it's absurd comedy in
yeah,
a way.
it's more like sketches and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to do more serious things, but you can't try to do that until you actually have actors.
yeah,
Like we've had some actors, but it's been like a mixed bag of 50-50 kind of.
yeah,
And I remember when I was at I went to U of W briefly until I realized like it was a waste of time and money because you can learn everything on YouTube, and as long as you have equipment, you might as well just go out and just practice and learn on your own. And but anyways, that's a whole other story. But like I remember at one of their film fests or whatever it was, watching some of the guys, the students' films, and there was at least one or two that were trying to be serious, and you could tell like the writer director had this vision or something, but like the actors were bad and people started laughing.
yeah,
And I know that like he or she or whoever the director was must have like died a little inside and maybe even given up on trying to pursue it because
Yeah.
like that's the worst. So basically I just lean into comedy because that's the last thing I'd want to have is something serious and then people start laughing.
yeah.
Might as well try and do something a little goofy.
A little silly, yeah.
And then if they're laughing, and especially because it's a bad actor or whatever, it's just, well, it's a funny scene. So
Do you get cameras from like Video Pool ever? Like, have you been there?
no, I don't bother. We have our own equipment and
Okay.
stuff. Like it's so much easier now than it was like in the 90s where
Tim's
like,
got some nice stuff too.
oh fuck yeah, he was
Yeah.
over the other night and he's a real gearhead,
Yeah,
I guess. Like he actually was teaching me with the gimbal, things to do, not to do.
sick.
And yeah, he's very valuable. It's great that we met him. It's too bad we didn't meet him before Frigid Inferno
Yeah,
because he would have saved that whole thing. But he helped us so much with Zombie Kid.
yeah.
So much.
Save the day.
Yeah, like we simulated at one point. There's a storm, rainstorm that happens outside, so simulating lightning and all that. And he was really good. And surprisingly, the kid that we got was like top notch.
Yeah, he was really good.
Jarrell, yeah, he's going places. He's a son of Sonny Asen,
Okay.
who was Goro Fukayu in Snake Pit season 2.
Okay.
He was the
I get it.
what do you call it? The not triads. What's the Japanese? It's been so long. The Japanese mafia is I can't believe I'm drawing a blank now.
Yakuza?
Yakuza, yeah, he was like the boss of Yakuza or something. So that's how like we knew him. And yeah, it was during the 48-hour film fest that when we were having our stuff premiered, he came up to me and just said, "I got this idea about a kid that's been bit by a zombie." And
What is the 48-hour film? Do you have to make the film in 48
pretty
hours?
cool, man. I'm gonna do it probably every year I'm in Winnipeg from now on
Is
because
that how it works?
yeah, it's hardcore. Like you gotta have a really strong team
Yeah.
that like no one's jumping on or stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
There's no egos, right? Because that can always happen. So yeah, you like basically you have like I think it's at like 6 p.m. Friday. They tell you the 3 things you have to incorporate in your film
Okay.
to avoid people like cheating, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you could try to like do it beforehand.
Pretend it's 48 hours, yeah.
Yeah, and just do whatever. So they give you like 3 specific things you got to fit in there, so they know that you did it during that time.
Yeah.
But we already kind of had an idea with something, and then we were just going to shoehorn whatever their thing was in there. But we hadn't started filming yet. We didn't cheat, but we had an idea already what we wanted to do and casted it already and figured out the locations. And we wanted to do something that would like throw a wrench into the wheel because we kind of guessed we had an estimate of like the film festivals are kind of funny. Like there's definitely some good films that end up in them, but then there's some of that hoity-toity sort of artsy fartsy kind of bullshit that's like smelling their own farts kind of thing where they think like it's this like like oh look
ego
at
got in
me,
the
yeah, and it's just some garbage. And funny enough, one of those movies actually won like best picture, best director, and it was like there was only 5 different angles and 2 people on a couch, and they're like So stupid. But anyways, our thing was called My Happiest Moments, and we wanted to disarm the audience, thinking like, oh, this looks like a Hallmark movie or whatever. Oh, Happiest Moments, that sounds good. Like, get the kids out or something. But so it's about a guy. He doesn't talk the whole movie, and he runs into three different people that kind of annoy him, and then it cuts to like this dungeon where he's like torturing them, and then right when it's escalating, it snaps back to reality, and he's still just kind of like, clenching his teeth or whatever. And then the guy leaves. Like, it starts with an annoying neighbor talking about the fence line. He's got to move it 2 inches or something. And
I think I've seen parts of this one. Is that that one's on YouTube right now, right?
Yeah. And but then the theme that they mentioned was transition. It has to be transition and like a foreign language. And I forget what the other thing was. Oh, there's a few transitions you had to do between scenes that you had to incorporate.
Okay.
So it wasn't that hard, but we already had this idea we wanted to do, and the transition is that he transitions from fantasizing about killing people to actually killing people. So at the very end, he actually kills the guy, and it doesn't go out of the fantasy. He actually opens up this like latch, like he was under someone's kitchen where he was torturing people, but the third guy, he actually was torturing him, and then he comes up and it's revealed like he's transitioned into becoming a serial killer.
And Tim worked on that one, right?
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he was really good on that.
There's gore. That one's got blood.
Oh yeah. Our friend Kenny, he had a missing eye, so we got I forget what Mark used, but Mark Kizek, who was the killer, and he's been in a lot of our stuff. He's great. He had like a fake eye, and we fit a grape into it, and then like some kind of like elastic. So he uses like a plier to pull his eye out, and then he fucking bites into the eye, and it's like gushes.
And he's actually missing an eye?
The eye juice. Yeah, he's actually, so we put it in the eye socket.
Wow.
So he actually,
does he normally wear like a glass eye, or?
I guess. I don't know. I never really thought about it. He looks normal.
Yeah.
I guess he's got to have
or like an eye patch
or
something.
No, he doesn't use eye patch. He'd be more badass if he did.
Yeah.
But no, I guess he's got some kind of fake eye, because like, we put that in his eye socket, and then we ripped it out, and then he bit into it to get the audience.
They could probably replace that with like a digital eye one day, right?
Oh, that would be
right, because they got those colloquial implants, whatever that goes into your skull.
You could be the Terminator
that
vision.
Could be the next. Yeah, you could have X-ray. Yeah,
and maybe even like
people pay extra to have both eyes removed, so they can have them replaced.
Have you heard of the concept of transhumanism?
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so like people, we're already entering that era where it probably won't even be people with disabilities. People will be willingly removing parts of their body.
Pay enough, yeah.
Yeah, I want my.
Well, I mean, it's already happening with breast implants, for example.
Yeah, that was the first step for sure.
Or who knows, different things, penises, and all the rest of it.
But then soon, I bet it'll be like that, like a hyper sensitive eye that can see crazy distances. You can calculate things. Or I'm sure you've heard of augmented reality.
Body modifications. Yeah, augmented reality.
Yeah, with the glasses apparently. Like,
yeah, I've got some Quest 2. It's a bit augmented reality. It's black and white, so it's not that good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of one scenario with that using that would be, that sounds like super fun, going to historical sites. And so you could go in the pyramids or whatever and like put these goggles on. They'd have a whole simulated thing running.
Yeah.
Like a pharaoh going by.
I think that's what metaverse will eventually be, is like you can put on certain glasses and everything will sort of have maybe advertisements or whatever on it, right?
Right.
But
depending on,
ideally there'd be some sort of like you could build on it, like maybe some ownership, who knows, like you could go on the internet and claim like a certain zone, like claim your own house, for example.
Oh,
maybe you got to pay 1 Ethereum, I don't know.
right.
But you could own your own house in the metaverse, and you could put like a poster on it, or who knows, right? Like, but
yeah, the metaverse seems like it's definitely like in its infancy, where it needs to find its,
so is crypto,
its grounding, and like, because it could go to places, but for the time being, it's just like so basic.
Well, it became a buzzword where they just started calling any MMORPG that had a crypto element, they started calling it all metaverse. And those weren't metaverse. Like, I think metaverse is pretty obvious. It needs to be a layer on reality. That's the whole idea. Right.
I guess.
And nobody's built that yet.
Right.
So I don't know.
Future is now, though. Like, there's. It's crazy how before things would just go, like, technology advancements was just kind of on this kind of up and up, but now it's just kind of fucking skyrocketing.
Well,
Like straight
yeah,
up.
I guess so. Like it almost seemed like things went really fast in terms of developing the phones and that stuff, but now it's like certain fields are like still like crawling to build and stuff.
Oh, like what? Like with in particular with
Well, I
metaverse?
mean, AI is definitely popping off,
Right.
but yeah, like crypto's been a real slow burn.
Right.
Yeah, and metaverse obviously. Metaverse isn't even a twinkle in its author's eye yet. You know what I mean? Like
True.
it's still
True.
way down the line, I think.
The AI stuff though is frightening because probably by the end of this year, it'll be so advanced that you won't be able to tell like if a video is real or not, because they could, they're already pretty much
It's
almost
getting
at that
there,
point.
yeah.
But like in terms of like voice and inflection
Yep.
and tone and then gestures and movements to make it seem real.
Yeah, it's like all the pieces are there. Like there's
Right.
tutorials on how to do it yourself. All they need to do is make an AI agent that can do all those things together.
But think about how frightening that is in terms of like general elections and stuff. You could have
Yeah.
your opponent say some racist things or whatever the hell, and then that could, or whatever, or Putin's, oh, I'm going to bomb everyone. Oh, well, we got to bomb him first.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's some kid in the basement doing it.
Disinformation.
It could be, but it's crazy. Like it's not even like in the hands of
Propaganda.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah, like governments are bad enough as it is with propaganda, which they could be doing that as well. But it could also be some joker, some kid in the
Yeah.
fucking basement.
Have you seen those like AI ads where they like Mr. Beast, for example, gets some ad and it's Mr. Beast promising you thousands of dollars if you install this app.
Right.
But you can tell the whole thing's overdubbed with like an AI voice. And
Right.
the words don't match up to the
There's one with Elon
or
Musk
whatever.
too.
Yeah,
that's
there's
like,
Michael Saylor. There's all these different ones. Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why so many scams are allowed. Like
It's gonna get wild though, real soon.
the AI needs to be able to detect the scams. Like it doesn't seem that hard.
I guess there'll be an AI to track the AI or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can use an app that like determines if it's real or not. But that's a weird concept to think that like we're in a time where you like it's bad enough with misinformation, disinformation, but like we literally won't be able to tell what's real.
Who knows if it'll get to a point where NFTs actually become relevant because the government will have to like certify this is an NFT video and it's certified from the government and you can verify it on the blockchain.
Right.
And that's how you know it's real. Maybe NFTs will be everywhere because you'll need to be able to prove legitimacy in that way.
I don't understand
cryptographically signed
NFTs yet.
Well, nobody does.
It seems like such a scam in a weird way that
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the original one. Well, it's a stupid monkey. Like I could like screenshot that, and I know I
Yeah.
got the monkey. It's like, but what? I have the original.
Yeah.
It's like, well, give the like it's a stupid monkey that you
Yeah.
paid like $1 million for.
Well, all those
Oh, you got the
monkeys,
original
all those
one,
monkeys
like-
crashed in
But it's so stupid.
price after that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just the concept. Is like I get it with a painting or whatever. Oh, I got the original Picasso or something.
Yeah.
I can understand. Okay, $1 million or something. But like for some digital thing that you could get a screenshot of,
Yeah.
and now I got the same thing as you. Like
Yeah.
you can't even like put it on your wall. Really, like it's not. It's digital. Like
Well, yeah, with the
Like,
monkeys, like
what's this-
they would like let you into these like private parties and stuff, right?
okay, yeah.
And what was I think they had this Bored Ape party in like China or something,
Okay.
and the video screens were so bright that it made everybody's like eyes like bleed or something. Like they all had to go to the hospital.
Whoa.
Like 100 people or something had to go to the hospital, and they were just like,
Whoa.
"Wow, like this is a bad party."
Because there were screens everywhere.
They had some type of
Right.
like video screens, but it was just like so bright, and all the people in the front row were just like blinded, and they had to like they had severe headaches, and they had to be like taken out of there
Wow.
and brought to the hospital and stuff.
Holy.
Yeah, so I don't know. They've definitely fallen from grace a little bit.
I feel like it's like a dubstep thing. Like it'll have its heyday, and then it'll be like, yeah, there's NFTs, but like no one. It's, I don't know. I feel like
that's kind of what
it
had
is,
happened. Like NFTs became popular, everybody got excited about metaverse, and then the
Yeah.
market crashed,
yeah.
and then went down for 2 years, and it's just starting to like come up again.
Is it?
And nobody's really realized that it's coming up again.
Oh.
But there's like a Bitcoin ETF coming up in like 2 days in the States.
Oh.
And everybody's all excited. There's trillions of dollars coming in with BlackRock and Vanguard. and all
Oh
this.
yeah, you're aware of the BlackRock, Vanguard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got their own Bitcoin ETF now. It's
the lords of the planet Earth.
pretty much approved almost, I think.
Apparently, I
We'll
think
see.
between the two, because they like shake each
Yeah,
other.
they own every company.
Right. They have like bigger GDP than like everything except America and China, I think.
Yeah.
Is like, but they can equal the rest of the world
Yeah,
or something in terms of like net value.
probably more than,
Well, it probably it's just keeps going. I
Yeah.
guess like they're not stopping.
especially if they get a Bitcoin ETF. Man.
Yeah. It's a crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
But I think like the next thing that people need to be concerned with, and I hope to God I'm wrong because I don't want to be, I'm not prepared to deal with this, but I strongly believe that the next big, if you want to call it psychological trauma or whatever they're going to implement, like, 9/11, COVID, it's a cyber attack. Our dear friend Klaus Schwab has declared even I think a few years ago that a cyber attack was imminent, and now you have Obama making that movie about it's called Leave the World Behind or whatever.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was Sam Esmail, right? From Mr. Robot.
I get, but all I know is Obama like helped produce it and was like had
Okay, I
a
didn't
big
know that.
part in like keeping like the story a certain way. It's predictive programming. I feel
Yeah.
that they're kind of preparing us that like, okay, like this could happen, and then so if it does happen,
Yeah, what was the premise? It was like boats were crashing into the. I don't want to do spoilers, but it was
Yeah.
like communication systems got as if the satellites were dead or something.
well, imagine
Like an EMP went off, like
Right,
the sun
right.
hit an EMP or something.
I saw some, yeah, I haven't seen the movie itself, but I've just read about it or
Yeah.
heard about it. But I saw an interview recently with the late John McAfee, who's from McAfee Antivirus.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been around for decades, and he's been on the run for a while. He's got a strange life where he was like in South America because he was like revealing things about the internet. I don't know all the story, but there was a pretty cryptic, allegedly his last interview, because he died in a prison in Spain or something weird. Like he's a globetrotting,
Yeah.
like,
I had no idea.
like Kim.com, where they're kind of going after him because he, whatever, I don't know, he's because he was hacking too much. I don't know the whole story, but these guys have weird lives, right? And they make a lot of money, and then they got to be on the run because the government can't have that
Yeah.
or whatever. And this guy, he had this super cryptic interview, allegedly his last one. It was about 15 or 20 minutes, and he was just explaining like how simple it would be for them to just like plunge us all into darkness, and whether it's like intentional or a foreign entity or whatever. But just imagine one day just lights out, everything's out.
Well, yeah, that was sort of Leave the World Behind. It was like some force was trying to confuse the states, or maybe globally, and have them thinking that it was some other country attacking. So they were dropping leaflets in different languages saying, "Death to America" in Chinese, and then they're dropping it in Iranian or different languages.
Oh.
And so people are fighting with each other, and that was the actual. I'm totally getting into spoilers here.
Yeah.
But that was the actual crux of it all. It was like destroy them from within.
Right.
Get them like divide and conquer. Get them to fight amongst themselves, and they'll blow themselves up. You don't even need to do.
Right,
A war. And this
right.
was described as the most cost-effective way
Oh, hell yeah.
to destroy a country.
Well, and these globalists that are, let's face it, like every single leader in the Western civilization, besides maybe Poland, but I think Viktor Orban's been booted or whatever. I think they got a puppet in there now. But like Canada especially, Trudeau's the biggest puppet. Probably all of them, but like,
Apparently, he's running again.
oh yeah, he's a narcissistic.
He seems like he's been in for a while, hasn't
Oh yeah, it's way too long. And he's just following orders from like their playbook, exactly what they want to do.
he? Yeah,
Like,
he admires China.
yeah, and like I call him, he's a fascist hiding behind a rainbow flag because he's virtue signals all day. But then, like, I mean, whether you agree with the trucker convoy or not, like he's played his cards a little too soon. And
Yeah, that
showed
was rough.
Like,
The shutting down the bank accounts of people who
Yeah.
donated $50 and stuff.
right,
Yeah.
and
It's a bit extreme.
like once they introduced UBI and the CBDCs,
Yeah.
the central bank digital currency
Yeah.
or universal basic income, they got you by the
Oh,
balls.
I guess that'll be how they do the UBI. It'll be through a central bank digital currency.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to take the UBI.
Yeah.
You have
And-
to take the digital
And
currency.
it'll all be linked to everything. And God forbid you post the wrong meme. Maybe you disagree with something online. Oh, frozen.
Maybe you own some Bitcoin.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of like population. What do you call it?
Control?
Yeah, control. Not mood control. Well, yeah, I guess controlling people's moods, controlling their. Well,
Mind.
persuading a population to just stay in your lane. You know what I mean?
Like pacifying? the
Yeah, I
people?
guess so. That like, and the China's like the test run for this.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty crazy when you hear about different stories there, where like if you allegedly if you buy too much alcohol in a week,
Yeah.
you could have your access to the buses, suspended or something.
It was a bit crazy how they started cracking down on the alcohol. They were like, okay,
video
only,
games?
They were like, only 4 drinks or 3 drinks a day. And then they were like, no, sorry, only 3 drinks a week, and then oh no, sorry, just 2 or 1 drink a week, and
Right.
they really don't
That's
want us
how it
drinking.
starts. Give
Yeah,
you something to eat, and then take away, take away, take away.
yeah.
It's like
Well, it's a recommendation right now, but
yeah,
yeah, it
but
seems like obviously China's hyper controlled, and then China's got this very loose border with North Korea. And then North Korea seems like ultra controlled.
Right.
It almost seems like similar in a weird way.
like North Korea is just them on like
But
steroids.
from what I understand, it's like the border's sort of porous a little bit
Okay.
between North Korea and China,
Oh, I didn't know that.
as if they're buddies a bit.
Right,
But I
right.
mean, I can't speak to it with any authority. But
That wouldn't surprise me because I mean they're both very similar, but like North Korea is like probably one of the craziest social experiments that's ever
yeah,
occurred
it's
if you think
wild.
about it.
Yeah.
Like
And they're selling nukes, I guess, to Russia,
yeah,
or
probably.
ballistic missiles, and then Russia's bombing Ukraine with them.
Yeah, it's a whole smorgasbord.
Yeah,
But going back to the power or the cyber attack that could happen, just imagine just one day out of nowhere. It would be the same as like 9/11, where just an unsuspecting day, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happens. The world's never going to be the same again. Imagine just if like, what would you do if like the power, all the lights, everything's out? A lot of people would probably stick around for at least a day to, okay, I hope it's going to come back on, but there's no phone, there's no nothing.
Yeah.
And then they start looting the stores because like we got to, okay, let's just loot because loot, but then also get groceries. But then come like
like
day,
a solar flare EMP, they would blame it
or
on.
they just whatever
Potentially.
the technology they have to flip the switch and just like
Yeah.
and just cancel the grids or
Well, I mean,
shut
a lot
down grids.
of power systems are resilient or renewable. Like people have solar panels on their homes,
Yeah, oh yeah,
or
oh yeah, yeah,
wind
yeah.
turbines
Well,
and stuff, right?
That's why.
But an EMP, like from the sun or from a nuclear bomb,
Right.
has the ability to sort of neutralize those things, maybe
Right.
on a permanent or temporary basis, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the shit that McAfee was talking about, how simple in his how he described it, for someone to hack into these grids and just shut them all down. But then, yeah, the solar could still exist, but everyone's would be in darkness, and it only takes a few days before society breaks down. It's pretty like sickening to when you see like in some of these hurricane, like even with Hurricane Katrina, like it only took a few days, and then everyone's just like
Yeah.
scrapping and fighting and looting. So yeah, what would you do? Where would you go? What's your plan B? I would get the out of any major populated area
Yeah.
because everyone's going tribal within like a few days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going door to door, and there could be rape, murder, whatever.
Canada would be pretty tough. Like it's so cold, right?
Yeah, but we got a lot of psychos in Winnipeg. Like,
Yeah.
I was jumped last New Year's. Do you want to hear a funny story? This is a sidestep slightly. So last New Year's, we went to a rec room, and then we went to Little Brown Jug.
Like a year ago or this
Yeah,
year?
last year.
Yeah.
To going into
A
2023.
year ago.
Yeah, 1 year. Last. Yeah, not. Yeah. And it was like closing like 2 a.m. or whatever. So some people are outside having a smoke. I was standing with them and my girlfriend and a friend and just a few people. There's probably only 10 people out there. And this place is like right by Red River College. So close to that, like, you know, the downtown zone of like chaos that like, things can happen, you know, near Maine and whatever. And so all of a sudden, I should back step 1 second. My girlfriend's like ridiculously nice to her own detriment. Like, she's such a nice person. And so basically, a homeless guy came around the corner just on his own, free will and asked for change or whatever. She gave him her last $20. I was like, holy shit, like $20, like you'd be happy with the change or whatever. It's like, damn, like you really want to do that? And she did that, and she was festive and felt bad for him. And here's $20. He thanked her. He's on his way. Okay, that's fine. And then like a few minutes later, unrelated, some fucking punks like kind of fit the North End stereotype. They must have been early 20s or even late teens. They weren't that old. Came around the corner, asked for a smoke, which is like the go-to, warning, danger,
Yeah.
danger. If someone's asking for a smoke, like keep walking, like, like they're trying to slow you down. And his buddy's coming, they're like velociraptors. One's this way, one's that way. The ones, clever girl. But anyway, so they came around, and before anyone could even respond with like, because people were smoking, they're all drunk, and someone would have given them a smoke. All of a sudden, pipes, weapons, they're punching, they're kicking, they're grabbing. They grabbed my girlfriend's purse. They took it off. It was like such a 30 seconds of madness. You didn't even know where you're getting hit, and you're just trying to like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And before you can even like fight back, and then they're off. And they didn't get a lot of things. They grabbed my girlfriend's purse and maybe 1 or 2 other things. And as we're just trying to like collect ourselves, like what the hell happened or whatever. Oh, a funny note too, when that was happening, there's big glass windows at this venue, and this tough looking security guard just held the door shut so no one could get back in, even though like patrons are like being assaulted on their property. That's like,
That's terrible.
you fucking prick, like we
Yeah.
need you out here.
Do your job,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's still on your property, and he was literally holding the door, and we could see because there's glass. He was like stopping us from like getting safe. And then
It's anti-security.
oh yeah, but they all are now. It's such a joke because they can't touch
All they can do is
anyone.
call the cops. right?
Yeah, they can, even if they're a big man or whatever, they can't touch anyone.
They should be allowed to have like a flashlight, right?
Yeah, something, or just
Do something,
teach them
yeah.
a lesson, because the whole society is just going down the drain.
I saw the Walmart security guard like kneeling on a dude's head, like, I never want to see you back here again. Like,
Oh, wow.
like they get serious at Walmart.
Some
yeah.
of them snap, and I don't blame them if you see it every day and
Yeah.
you just get so sick of it. But so, anyways, a few moments later, as we're kind of just collecting our thoughts, what the hell? Are you okay? Are you okay? 2 or 3 of them come back, and they got my girlfriend's phone, and and one of them has her purse. And the audacity on these fuckers, they were trying to sell her phone back to us.
Yeah.
Like, look, we just wanted some cash. We just look for $50 or whatever. And like, I'm pretty drunk at this point, but like, he was only like that far away.
Yeah.
And it took me like, my brain wasn't going as fast as it normally would, but I was like, what the hell is like, this is so absurd. So I just fucking grabbed his hand or whatever. And I don't fight a lot. I haven't been in a fight in years, but then I was like, just started swinging around and fucking punching him. And then now it's round 2, but now we're prepared and we're older than them. And they got their asses stomped. Like we threw them in the snow and kicked
Yeah.
them, whatever. They went off running like a bunch of scared hyenas. And so I got her phone back, got her purse back. The only thing that was missing was her passport that they were probably going to use to, get booze or,
Yeah, I guess.
I think some of them were underage. But the whole moral of the story is that had she not been such a nice person and given that $20 to that homeless guy moments before this, they wouldn't have come back because they just want cash, probably buy drugs that night, or like the vendors.
Oh, but there was no money in the purse.
There's no money in the purse, but there would have been had she
Yeah.
not been such a nice person.
Yeah.
And so I got her phone back, got her purse back, but yeah, the passport was gone. But it was just like such a funny scenario. So I don't know. That's, I guess, the story. Like, it's just downtown Winnipeg, grimy as hell. There's another funny story. I don't know if Travis told you about what happened with Captain Winnipeg
We talked about it a bit. Yeah, he
With-
showed me some.
with the robbery, though.
Did someone try to actually rob you guys while you were filming?
Well, yes. So short story, yes, but it's kind of funny because the whole Captain Winnipeg concept is like a superhero that the city, it doesn't deserve, but it will get, or whatever the tagline is. It's similar to Batman, but it's like
He's not the superhero you deserve, but he's the superhero you got.
yeah, it's not only that
like
because
that.
he's kind of crappy. Like, it's
Yeah.
Winnipeg. Like, he's Captain Winnipeg. He's not Captain America. He's Captain Winnipeg. So that was inspired by all those walkout robberies because they kept happening, and like crime is getting ridiculous. And it's like, this city needs a hero, and like no one else is doing a superhero thing. And superheroes are, I mean, at the time too, they're still big. I guess you could say they still are big, but people are starting to get sick of it. But
Disney's been going ham on it.
yeah, they're really milking that cow. But so anyways, I chose the Ellis location because it's right in the heart of downtown, and there was 2 security guards, 2 older, I think like East Indian guys, right? But they were not intimidating whatsoever, and there's 2 of them. I don't know why you need 2 if one's not even going to do anything. Maybe so the other one's a witness when that one's going to get beat up.
Yeah, one can radio while the other guy's
Getting like
talking.
or whatever, right?
Getting beat
But so I went in before we started filming and told them that like what we wanted to do. We just needed a guy to kind of walk out as though he just walked out. But we bought the booze and whatever, and we didn't go into the stores, and we don't have to disturb anyone. And literally, like right after we did the cut with the guy running out, there's 2 middle-aged women that like did an actual walkout, and we were like, what the fuck? It just happened like moments after. They could have, if the timing was slightly different, they would have been in our shot
Yeah.
doing an actual robbery. It was like life imitates art, and art like imitates
Yeah.
life. But I don't think we got him on film because it just happened so fast, and they were laughing, and they went the other way.
Yeah.
And
That's why you have to have like the videographer like following you around.
well, we've always wanted a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah,
'cause
behind the scenes, yeah.
there's nutty stuff that happens a lot. But that was one of the funniest because it was like immediately after we yelled cut or whatever, and then
Yeah.
and before we realized what was happening, they're already gone, and security guards at the window.
Like the Netflix special is like behind the sines of you trying to make films.
Oh,
It's not
yeah.
actually the film, but it's like
Right.
this is the story of John.
There was actually a thing that I wanted to do. There's a show we started called Stoner Street that was going to be like a parody of Sesame Street, but for stoners. At the time when I came up with that idea, I was living in a garage mostly, and it was like 20 by 20. Every piece of the walls was like covered in pop culture, and like it just looked like
Yeah, you're telling me about the garage.
yeah, it was a wicked setup for like, and it just dawned on me like I've got to. Oh yeah, it was I guess during the COVID times when you're kind of limited to where you can go and what you can
Yeah.
do, and I was like, oh, what can we do? I got to still do something. So why not film here? And like I could be the main character, and it'll be like pseudo.
It's like Bo Burnham inside.
I guess so. Yeah, pseudo like not. It was like a version of me or whatever. The character's name was Jay,
Okay.
and he lives in this garage, and it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds an episode.
Yeah.
So they're short, and for attention spans, and there'd be different guests that shows up and Muppets and things like that. So, but what I wanted to do while we were filming Stoner Street was do a fake behind the scenes thing, and like pretend like make things more dramatic than they really are.
Yeah.
Like insinuate I had a really bad coke problem, and Mika keeps getting phone calls from better directors to go to Hollywood, but I'm like holding her back. And Mark, who's he's a Satanist, but he's not like I don't think he's like
Not practicing.
well, he's not like worshiping Satan. He's like the Satanist that like
Just do whatever you want.
yeah, do what thou wilt.
wilt.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
that. So, but we're gonna lean into that where he's actually like he's trying to make the show
It's got the
successful.
little altar and stuff.
Yeah, where he sacrifices a squirrel, and then it escalates, and then our friend Kenny, the disabled guy, goes missing in the final episode. So I was gonna like try and do two things simultaneously that I thought would have been fucking hilarious because you get the show that's whatever, but then you get this behind the scenes and it keeps escalating. Whatever. It would have been fun, but then my grandma got really sick, and I fell into like a really bad depression, and I just kind of I couldn't like do anything. And
So you didn't finish it?
no, we shot one episode called Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, about sativa clause.
It never got released.
No, that one did.
Okay.
So we got one
Yeah.
with Bubba, who's the
Bubba B.
Bubba B, hilarious. He's
He's
big,
everywhere.
big black Santa basically, and he shows up, and there's Frosty the Blowman, and Rudy the red-nosed draft beer,
Okay.
and just some zany couple of minutes, where it's April 20th, and the show fucking would have been so goddamn funny, man. And every episode had like a hilarious name attributed to like weed. Like the second episode was going to be called Robopot.
Yeah.
And we're about a robot that shows up at my door, raising awareness about robophobia, because that's going to be a real thing coming where
Yeah.
people don't like robots.
It's already happening.
Oh yeah, and as you'd expect, because people are people, and something different they're gonna, especially if you're taking my job, and like
Yeah.
so. But yeah, the funny thing with that episode was where I offer him a joint, and he's like, "We don't smoke weed, we get jacked in." And then he uses his cord to jack into the wall, and like that's how robots get high. And then he like short circuits, and then it kind of ends where like kill all humans. And then like yes, there was another one. Little what was it? Little Crop of Horrors,
Okay.
where I order some weed off the deep web, or the dark web, I should say.
Yeah.
And it comes to my door from Scamazon, and it turns out to be this plant, like Little Shop of Horrors, but it's like a weed plant, and it wants to eat people and things and stuff. So and it starts growing, and kind of like a rip off of that, but it's like Killer Kush, or
Yeah.
whatever. A really funny one. I'll stop rambling about this real soon. But the third episode was called. I had 8 episodes planned, but it was called Close Encounters of the Third Joint, where I hear a crash in the backyard and go out there and find that there's an alien there, and his name is ETHC.
THC. Yeah.
Well, because THC, but he's like when I have a unsmoked
ETHC.
his intro, and I have like a joint in my mouth that I haven't lit yet, and like I forget the dialogue, but I'm talking to him like, "Who are you?" Or something, and with the finger, he's like, "They call me ETHC," and he likes the joint with it. And then when we go into like a rap sequence where like we're singing and stuff,
Yeah.
it would have been such a funny show. But actually, speaking of which, Do you know the Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people do. They have a website called SwearNet. Have you heard of that?
SquareNet?
SwearNet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a website where they host different things, like it's comedy or whatever. And apparently they're looking for shows to sign or whatever. And my girlfriend's uncle has been with them since like day one as like a stunt guy. And just recently she's been talking to him and sending him some of her stuff. So we're in the process of pitching Stoner Street to them, and also season 3 of Snake Pit, because that show, like, you could have endless episodes. Like, it's just such a funny concept of just people pitching bad ideas to criminals. And
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this one.
yeah, with hilarious results. Like, anything can happen. Someone could get killed or steal.
That one had Bubba B, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
great. He had the bedbug bombs.
Okay, I think
Can you
I remember
imagine that?
Yeah.
Bunch of bed bugs in like a thing that you
Yeah.
throw at someone.
Yeah, it's like better than pepper spray.
Yeah, because, well, depending on if it could actually work. Like, the concept's kind of absurd because, like,
It's more of a slow burn, I guess.
well, I guess it depends how many are in there.
Yeah.
And, like,
whether
yeah.
the mums are pregnant and
Yeah, and if you would like throw it into someone's business or actually at them physically and some skin on their shirt, such a silly concept.
hide it in their backpack.
Yeah, but he was like playing a homeless guy that was just completely off his rocker, and he was hilarious. Like, you give him a script and then he can just kind of flow with it and kind of turn it around or whatever. And like, yeah, he was one of my favorite pitches. We had a funny guy too on season 2 where it's underneath a train bridge because
That's the one I saw.
So at the end of season 1 on the Christmas special, one of the snakes is Bin Laden's brother. And when Santa comes on to pitch like a Merry Christmas or something stupid, he gets triggered and he ends up like pulling his vest. And so the season 1 ends where he blows up the warehouse because, and then so season 2, they're underneath a train bridge. As if that's not the sketchiest thing ever, right? Like, you're making a deal with some criminals under a train bridge. Like, that's like the worst. But we had this one funny sketch where there's this surgeon, this like doctor, who's selling like organs, and we I actually got like a pig's heart and some other like livers or whatever from like a butcher.
A butcher, yeah.
Yeah, and had in a bucket with the blood. And this was a path that like people would walk on and bike through. And I remember doing his one of his takes. He's like lifting it up and he's like in full character. This guy, Dakota Nichols, really good actor. He was actually Captain Winnipeg.
Okay.
And we lost him to ACTRA though. ACTRA keeps stealing all the talent. But that's a whole other story.
That's like an agency?
I fucking hate ACTRA. Pardon my French, but like, they are so complicated. Well, I'm sorry, I was getting off topic there, but the one thing with him quickly where he was like in full character, he's lifting up this like heart or whatever, and he's like doing his pitch, and then this guy on this bike goes by, and he kind of like looks at like, oh, okay, like, this doctor in this like vest has this like heart or whatever, and like, and we didn't yell cut, like it's in the actual like scene, because he looked at him and then he just, I don't know, it was really funny because he didn't break character. And the guy's reaction was priceless. Like, he didn't have to say anything. It was just kind of like, he looked and you could tell, like, what the is okay, Winnipeg, all right, keep going. But
well, at least you see all the cameras there. You know, it's
I
someone
think
filming something, right?
He must have. But like,
it's not like just a lone doctor with a heart in his hand.
right? That's under a bridge or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but yeah, no, it was the first season sucked though, because we didn't have any script. We were just like winging it. And that's a terrible thing to do if you only have like, well, we had 2 cameras and not everyone was a professional actor. So trying to recreate what they just said from a different angle when they were just shooting off the top of their head.
Exactly.
Yeah. So season 2 is way better because it actually was scripted. So we could get the proper angles and plus like the camera we had was better. Season 2 is just way better. But anyways, if we had money, we could do season 3, like if you actually paid people, because then you can expect more. I think one of the biggest problems with independent filmmakers is, well, maybe others are more harsh, but like I find, like I don't want to piss anyone off or make them so upset that they walk off.
Yeah.
But so if they're not really delivering the lines the way you want them to, you can't be like, no, like do it like this, like harder. Like you can kind of,
Yeah.
but you can't.
Because you're not paying them exorbitant amounts. You can't really
Yeah,
help
so
them.
and that's why a lot of our stuff has like suffered or could be a lot better because we're just working with what we can.
Yeah, exactly.
And please don't leave. Okay, just okay if that's the best you can do for your line.
Yeah.
Moving on, but it would be so awesome to finally like have like all talent they're getting paid, so I can get in their face. No, say it like this. I wrote it like that. You say it like that instead of like, oh, okay, well.
I guess you need like an investor, like a producer or something,
Yeah,
right?
I think we're pretty close to achieving that though.
You
Because
guys do grants? Oh, sorry to interrupt.
I looked into that actually, but apparently, funny enough, it kind of shocked me that once. So I took a 2-day seminar or something through Video Pool, I think it was, or Winnipeg Film Group. I think it was just like last year. I'm pretty sure it was, and it was specifically for like grant writing and whatnot. And the instructor told us like how much it's changed over the last 10 years. That like, and oddly enough, it's when the Liberals came into power, I would have thought they'd be all about the arts and like throwing money at this and that. But he said it like completely changed. And they used to, like, Canada used to just give them out like candy.
Yeah.
You get like, oh, you're approved for 50,000 or 30,000 or whatever. Now it's like you got to struggle to get 2,000, and that's not a lot. Like, I'd pay for your food or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
for a few days, but like, yeah, a lot of it's changed. And then they have all these other quotas that they have to put into, and like, I'm not a gay black woman, so there's not a lot of like grants that are gonna, I'm a straight white male, so I'm not really that any pecking order that is preferable because they want to, so but even aside from that, like, even for everybody, it's like slim pickings.
Yeah.
Unless you get super lucky with some kind of bursary thing that's maybe not through the government, but it's some, rich guy that's, it's the John McAdams Fund, or you know what I mean? That's like awarded once a year for 20,000 or something.
Like John Lennon, didn't he pay for the Holy Mountain? Like they funded this director named Jodorowsky, Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Okay.
Apparently, I guess like John Lennon funded this movie because he believed in this director who had made this movie called El Topo.
Okay.
Which translates to the mole. And I guess John Lennon loved this movie so much that he said, okay, make me a new movie. And he gave him all this money. And Alejandro Jodorowsky just made the like most insane, unhinged movie of all time.
Oh.
I've watched it a few times. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. But I mean, not everybody has. It's very old.
From the 60s.
But yeah, maybe 70s. But yeah, like stuff gets weird sometimes. I guess you got to meet some rich producer.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's really all it takes.
You got to impress somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a point where all it's going to take is the right set of eyes to see something we've done.
Yeah.
Or all of it, or whatever, and then it could open a lot of doors. But one thing that our friend Mark Kizek, who's been with us for a number of years, he's bringing me onto a project where they actually do have money. And this month we're filming in Ninet or something. No, Ninet. No,
Okay.
It's near Brandon. And there's like, I think he said 2 or 3 different buildings that are like hospitals that are closed down. They still have power, no running water, but the owner has allowed them to film there. So they can break walls or they can get blood on things or whatever. And it's a movie called The Princess and the Dragon, where a girl wakes up, in this strange asylum looking, building. She's got to try and find her way out. There's clues, and there's some psychopath that's stalking her with weapons and stuff. And so it's a very simple story, streamlined with like, it'll be like suspenseful and horror. And there's a few other characters, but it's the cast is like 5 or 8 people or something like that. And it's feature film. They have $80,000 that they've already procured. And so long story short, with a feature film, like that could lead to getting more recognized. Also with Zombie Kid and Frigid Inferno, we're going to release those into film festivals. And there's actually a really good site called, what the fuck is it called? Film Fest Freeway, I think it's called.
Okay.
Where it's like a streamlined site where you can, like, it basically has all the world's like various film festivals and just kind of streamlines it for you to submit.
Nice.
So instead of trying to find, what's the one in Germany?
Yeah, you got to
like,
look them all up.
yeah, it's like, they're all there. You want Germany, you want Sweden, you want this, you want that, South Africa or whatever. So we're pretty excited about that because it's a first for us. Like, we've always done skits and shows or whatever that, YouTube's kind of buried us in the algorithms. We actually
You did pretty well with one of them. I was noticing.
Skip the
Bitches
Bitches
looked pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, which is a funny concept, but we've noticed, and maybe other people on YouTube have had this happen, but like they've removed like views and likes. Like we've caught.
Well, I was noticing like a month ago, it was like glitching. Like I would post something and then right away it's like you've got 300 likes but one view.
Oh wow.
You know, like just weird little glitches like this, and then the next day you check it and it's back to normal and stuff, like as if the database was glitching.
Right.
But yeah, Tim Woodman's been kind of gearing up towards doing his like ranch posting again, or his Friday Night Hotline.
Funny. Yeah.
I remember when those guys started, and I started getting involved with them.
Oh yeah.
I played this character Nick Swardson.
Okay.
Who's an actual person, but I guess Tim thought I looked like him. But at that time, Tim was trying to get picked up by like Eric Andre or Adult Swim. I guess they had some like pitch your show to us, and we tried to get it accepted, but they weren't feeling it, and engagement was low, so they stopped doing the show. And then I guess like a couple years later, people on Reddit started asking like, where did the show go? We want it back. So they're like gearing up to start doing it again.
Oh, nice.
I guess.
It was a funny like concept.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And he actually like I think met Eric Andre once, or
maybe like he did that Eric DeVito face swap, and then Eric Andre, I guess, retweeted it or posted it on Instagram.
Yep.
And it went viral, and Tim got like 10,000 Instagram followers because of it, or maybe because of other things. I don't know all the details, but
wow.
But yeah, his Instagram did really well because of that. Yeah.
He's a very talented guy. I'm really glad.
Some people got it tattooed.
What?
The Eric DeVito face swap. Some people got it like tattooed and stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a super talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I brought something that I should show you. This is
okay.
So one of my times in New York, I started a group called the Undead DJs.
Okay.
And I really, really wish I would have stayed there. I shouldn't have never left, but there's reasons for that.
Yeah.
And basically, my character was called Necromancer, like a neck romancer. That's what happens if you're enjoying a tune.
Oh, neck romancer.
Yeah, exactly. And then my buddy was Drunkenstein. So I'm surprised this has survived all these years.
Yeah.
But this was like my mask originally.
Okay.
I had this mask. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Wait, there we go. I don't know. Well, like this.
Is this the necromancer? Which
this is necromancer. I had like a cloak. I was like basically we had the concept we had for this duo was like the first Halloween themed DJs, and we were gonna like emphasize that at our shows, and we only did like I think 1 or 2 shows, and then Burning Man playing out there. But I had this belt that had all these potions that were like corked, and they're different colors, but they're different liquors and shit. And then he had
Devil's breath.
Yeah, right. Well, I could have told someone like this is Devil's breath, take it, because we're just
empty out your bank machine. All of a sudden, they hypnotized it.
Right.
For a different reason.
Because I was like the wizard or whatever the hell, and he was like my creation, and he had like this whole outfit that this guy named Dr. Adventure helped us make. Like he made this mask or whatever, and yeah. So Drunkenstein had like a not I would say a backpack, but it was something on his back that was full of like whatever you wanted to put in there.
Yeah, wine or beer.
Wine, liquor, beer. Well, mostly wine or liquor because he had a tube going to his head.
Yeah, the beer would get foamy maybe. Right.
I can't remember what we had there. Yeah. Well, no, we didn't do beer because there was 2 sides of him that had beer cans. So you know when you're in a vending or not a vending machine, even like a fridge, sometimes they have that like thing you take one, another slots down.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So he had 2 of those on that side, so he could carry like 12 beers or something, plus his backpack thing, so he could take that out, you get stuck on his tube, and then put it back. He could grab a beer and throw it in the crowd or whatever.
Drunkenstein, yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool concept. And then we were going to eventually have a girl called Bloody Mary that was like a witch that was going to be going around the crowd and like giving them liquor and stuff like that. And we had an idea for zombie backup dancers, and then obviously with the what do you call it, the VJ stuff in the back, going with the music, different Halloween movies or themes like that, just kind of leaning into that like what I like to call undead electro, that's got that like apocalyptic sort of eerie vibe to it that like I really love to hear. And so that's what we were going to specialize in, but then complications with my my visa and making a few stupid choices. I should have just stayed illegally. at the end of the day. And I kind of regret it every single day, pretty much, that like I didn't,
Yeah.
because a lot of people do and they just figure it out. But I was like, oh no, what if they catch you and you're banned for 10 years and
Yeah.
then, you know, you could do this and also going in an American prison scares the shit out of me. Like
Yeah.
I've watched all of seasons of Oz. And like,
That was a good show.
I
back in
wouldn't
the day.
last that long in a prison. Like
Yeah.
I've heard good things, not too bad things about Canadian prisons
Mhm.
that are kind of whatever, but then like American ones, not that would happen to me, but like the irony is that like now I've been back for 10 years and then like, so if I would have been banished, like I'm at that point now where I could have gone back.
Mhm.
But I guess, I don't know, like I still stay in touch with my friend. He's kind of a brother from another mother, Jay Clemente. I mean, we could try to do it again, but I feel like sometimes moments in time, like you have this opportunity and like, there you go, don't f it up, and then
Yeah.
oh you did, and then oh now you're older. Like
We can always go back to New York, right?
I'd love to, but now with my paranoid mind of like, let's see how the election year goes,
Yeah.
and if they do flip the switch and we're in darkness for God knows how long.
Might be nice to be around here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a major metropolitan area where
Yeah.
everyone's gonna just.
I mean, you can't avoid cities forever, right? You got to travel a bit.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm kind of this year in particular with.
This is
like,
the high stakes year.
yeah, I feel like especially with how heated the election in the States is going to go, just wait to see what happens there.
Yeah.
I think they're going to probably try to assassinate Trump because if you can't put him in prison, he's getting more popular, and then the border's wide open, all these issues, like, I think they're going to try and kill him. Whether or not they're successful, but then that could trigger a whole thing, and then you got this Civil War 2.0,
Yeah.
like, it's getting
I
nuts
don't
down
think they
there,
want a
man.
repeat of JFK, though. That was pretty rough, right?
But if you can't put it, they really want him off. Like they're trying already
Yeah.
to remove him from ballots,
Ballots, yeah.
trying to put him in jail. If none of that's working, well, what's the final solution?
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
Has he
that's
gone on
it.
the record and said he's not suicidal?
yeah. I don't know if he's ever actually said that,
Elon
but
Musk
you
said
should
that.
probably start saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if you get too close to certain things, you kill yourself with a bullet in the back of your head,
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah.
right? Yeah, how they lose the tapes, or not lose the tapes, it's shut off. Speaking of losing tapes, did you know, and you can Google this, they've allegedly lost all of the original lunar videotapes.
Oh, okay.
They've misplaced them, they lost them.
Yeah.
Arguably one of, if not the most important artifacts or whatever of like the last 1,000 years or whatever the hell of human advancement, whether or not you believe they win or, but like, and you lost it? How the f do you lose that?
Yeah, and like the flag was blowing in the wind.
Yeah, it kind of raises like
little
questions,
X of
right?
like we're
Yeah.
behind a rock or something.
Yeah,
and
so like, did they go?
we're
Because
in
like,
front of the rock.
why wouldn't they go back? Like, it would be such an advantageous thing to, like, if you're at the top of the mountain and everyone else is down here, you got the eye in the sky. You know what I mean? In terms of even just like power on the planet, like you're on the moon. Oh, I guess you're the boss because you can. I don't know. Like it's
Yeah.
a power play, right? And even just for like scientific discoveries, and apparently it's full of helium-3, which is allegedly a source for what do you call it? Not combustion, but apparently it's a source to fuel starships to go
Wow.
in space. So you could have a post on there and then launch off there to go to Mars or whatever. And
Yeah.
we should be a spacefaring species, but we're too fucking.
That's what
Stubborn
Elon Musk
and-
is shooting for, right?
Yeah. I power to him, man. I think we definitely have to be on another planet to ensure our survival. I don't know if you've heard of like the types of civilizations,
Yeah.
type 1, type 2. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not even type 1.
Yeah, because we can't harvest our own sun or whatever.
Or just
Or we do harvest the sun's energy.
maintain balance on your planet, and I think it's becoming interplanetary. I think it's type 1.
I think it's like
been a
you
while
harvest the energy of the sun, and then the next stage is like you harness the energy of the whole solar system, and the
that's
next one's like you harness the energy of the whole galaxy.
right. No, that's
something?
that. Okay, so it's, yeah, type 1 is interplanetary. Type 2 is the sun. Type 3 is multiple like galaxies, and type 4 is like you're a god at that point. Because like, what can you if
Yeah.
you're traveling through
Harness
like,
the whole universe.
Yeah, or you can just I guess beyond the physical realm into multiple dimensions, and God knows what's going on beyond
Yeah.
that point. You know, it's pretty fascinating to think about or try to imagine all the possibilities.
So I guess our galaxy is pretty quiet. Like they've been looking up into the galaxy and they don't really see a lot of radio waves or whatever. Do you think maybe every galaxy has one or two intelligent life forms, or do you think maybe the galaxy has a bunch, or like how?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's
Well, there's
probably like trillions of stars in our galaxy,
yeah, like
right?
statistically, if you just think, I don't have the numbers on the top of my head, but I remember hearing about this from a physicist, where Dr. Michio Kaku was the guy that did hyperspace, that book, and he's done a bunch of other things, and he kind of puts it into layman's terms. But one of them was like, with the amount of like trillion amounts of stars and blah blah blah, like statistically, like there should be like millions of different life forms out there.
Yeah.
And just because we haven't found them, or we have, but they're not telling us.
Yeah, because I guess they're finding all these planets that are in the Goldilocks zone.
Right.
But just because a planet's in the Goldilocks zone doesn't mean it's in the, 1,000-year window, let's say.
Right.
They could be a million years before or after us.
Right.
Because in a million years, there might not be any remnants left of humans either.
Yeah.
So we're not just like, we're in a specific period of time
Right.
that's like, there's
Right.
no rhyme or reason to it. Like billions of years had to go by just to get here.
Yeah.
And we have this flash in the pan, and then we're gone again, maybe.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause we
Right,
nuke
so it's very
ourselves or
very
something.
rare to like meet up with an alien. I guess the alien would have to live over thousands of years. Like it
Right.
would have to be pretty sustainable, right?
Right, because
Yeah.
that window could pass, and then they come here, and it's like it's rubble.
Yeah, so maybe they can become interplanetary. They can build a civilization that lasts for thousands of years. Even that's still a bit of a flash in the pan in the
Right.
grand scheme of things, right?
It is. Yeah.
The dinosaurs were just chilling here forever.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Literally, like how many millions of years, probably?
Yeah.
Like 40 million years. That was the Cretaceous or whatever. Like
Right. Yeah.
it's unfathomable amounts of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been incredible to see what they would actually sound like and look like. And
Apparently, the longitude or the latitude of the pyramids is like almost the exact same number as the speed of light.
yeah,
Did you see that? That was
yeah,
weird, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some pretty accurate placements
Yeah.
of pyramids around the planet that I don't want to say aliens, but
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah.
Because here's how I kind of look at aliens, or think what's really going on. We do similar things to lesser life forms all the time. You put them in a petri dish, and you come in and you dab them with something, or maybe you're just observing, right? Like I think the planet Earth is just a big science experiment that multiple species may have come and interacted.
But if there was actually like Area 51 and all this, things that are supposedly hidden,
Yeah.
you would think that Elon Musk or Edward Snowden would have discovered those files hidden somewhere, or they would have some access to it.
Right.
But both of them seem to say, I've looked at everything. There's no evidence of it.
Right.
So are we just all making it up? Like,
I don't think so. Whether or not they've found out, or it's beyond what they can reach.
how come these people in power say there's no evidence of it, but then Joe Sixpack is seeing the UFO in the backyard or whatever?
Right. Or some of these whistleblowers that have come out, like Phil Schneider was one. There's a couple that have come out and done like speeches, and then like they go missing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whether or not what they were saying was real, there's that. I mean, I believe that it's real, and like the governments have had contact with them, and there's treaties in place to take certain amounts of humans for experiments and in exchange for technology or whatever. I'm pretty convinced that that's the case.
Okay, so
And in our lifetime, I think it's gonna be a 9/11 moment where like, okay, there's aliens.
yeah.
Like and all of a sudden your life's never gonna be the same because
So what types of aliens are we thinking?
Gray
Reptilian humanoids that have existed since the age of the dinosaurs,
or beyond that,
or do they live inside some type of inner Earth structure potentially?
it's possible.
Are the Greys maybe robots, or are they from
Right.
another planet system, or are they from here? We don't know.
They could be synthetic life forms.
And then the Anunnaki living on Nibiru, they're
yeah.
traveling, this 3,000-year orbit or whatever.
Right.
But that's supposed to be a brown dwarf star, right? So are they living on a moon of that star, or are they living on the sun? It's a very strange concept. Like, how does Nibiru, if it's a brown dwarf,
I was under the impression it was just a
I
planet.
mean, it could be a planet, yeah.
But who's to say?
But then they don't have much heat, right? Because they're this huge
Right.
ellipse around the sun.
Unless they live in the core of the planet. Who
Maybe
knows?
they had
they have
maybe they have that or some type of
technology.
technology,
Yeah.
where they don't really need the sun the same way we do.
Right.
Because maybe you think the sun could be a primitive energy system. Like maybe we won't need the sun forever.
Right.
Like maybe at some point our technology could get to the point where we could have different forms of energy,
Right.
whether it's kinetic or solar and or not solar obviously, but
Right.
wind and the different things.
No,
Yeah.
I bet they're tapping into something that's like beyond what we even
I guess
are
Tesla was
aware of,
onto some like invisible energies. Like you don't
Yeah.
need these power lines.
right?
I could just pull energy right from the clouds or whatever.
And speaking of Tesla, and Elon Musk, I find it odd that like he took the name of this brilliant inventor.
Well, he didn't. He joined the company after it was founded,
Oh, right. No, that's
Right.
true. Fair enough. But so he's running this company.
as far as I understand.
No, that's true. Yeah, you're right. He didn't start it or whatever. But like he owns this company
Mm-hmm.
with this guy's name, and he's pushing for EVs. Like,
Yeah.
the electric cars
And
are
robots,
not the answer.
Optimus robots.
Well, that's fine. That's fair game. I think robots make sense to try to invest and create and expand upon because that'll be like the new slave class.
Yeah.
And then that the whole robophobia thing will become a thing, where because they're going to look like us, but whatever. That's a whole other
Have you
talk.
seen these robots? They have like they have completely black faces.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just a
he's
flat surface.
made them kind of,
And they're like playing with the eggs and stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, look how good I am with these eggs.
or like going up these boxes and then like
Yeah, they're like
whatever.
stumbling on the stage.
Yeah, trying to do something. But then you've got Sophie, who's like that AI robot. I'm sure you've seen her.
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
Ironically, she's a citizen of Saudi Arabia,
Okay.
and I don't know why they chose a female or how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
But women don't exactly have the best time in Saudi Arabia. And
I think it's getting better though, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah,
but
things
it's-
are like
but it's
advancing over there.
Still ironic that like the first.
Yeah.
Because I think she was like the first robot to be granted citizenship anywhere in the world or something. And it's Saudi Arabia of all places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a female, they're like what? Oh yeah, that's.
I think
kinda
women
weird.
can drive in Saudi Arabia now, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
of all places. on
Yeah,
the planet,
absolutely.
for a female.
The irony for
right?
sure.
Yeah, and like they're on the Human Rights Commission on the UN, but where's I going with that? Oh yeah, with Tesla though. So he has his company with this great inventor's name, and like surely he must be aware or have enough money to find out more on like what the hell Tesla was really trying to do with free energy.
Yeah.
Because allegedly that's one of the things that what's his name, Edison, tried to shut him down because he didn't want him to the whole world have free energy. You can't charge money on that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So allegedly, like he got like not snowballed, but he got like he wasn't able to advance as much as he deserved to because the powers of I think J.P. Morgan was also like an asshole that cut his funding or didn't want it because.
Teslas?
Yeah, because Tesla
Yeah.
was figuring out how the world could have free energy
Yeah.
and it could revolutionize everything, and they had to put a stop to that because they
But
need.
if it was possible, how come
they-
they just haven't done it now?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Right.
how come, and with like the namesake that Elon has like of this company,
Yeah.
and you're trying to do like electric cars, like that.
Like there
seems
must not have been a
backwards.
free energy because if there was, somebody would have figured it out. Like,
Well, I think the American government's just sitting on it because do you know who was tasked?
what if somebody just figures it out one day? Like,
Well, then
it's everywhere.
You fall down the
Internet.
stairs or you fall out a window. It's like the cars that could run on water.
yeah,
I remember seeing it at least one, but maybe two. My memory's a little bit foggy, but I remember seeing at least one where this guy was actually like I think it was in the 80s, and he was being documented a little on it,
Yeah.
and that like he found out how cars could run on water,
okay.
and then they
Back
have
to the Future. Run on garbage.
well, it was water,
Yeah.
but then the FBI showed up, they confiscated everything. Like a week later, he's dead and he committed suicide.
Yeah, some engineer in
And
the
then
garage got to figure it out.
and it's
Make a
pat-
YouTube video about it. Like, hey, I just made a car that runs on
Just
water.
expose it, and then it's out there. Because if it's leaked, then what can they do?
That's
right?
what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so how can you keep those things under wraps?
Right. They
If it exists.
yeah. I think they're sitting on a lot of things that could take us to the next level.
I
But,
can see the aliens because we have a dissonance. Like, if somebody says, I have proof of aliens, what's the first thing you think? Probably
prove
probably
it,
lying or,
or
need
prove
proof.
it, or yeah,
Right. Whereas you say, I got a car that runs on water. Here's the video. Like, it's okay, fine, sure.
right.
It's technology, but we don't want to believe there's aliens. Like, we want
Right.
to believe that's fiction, you
I think a
know?
lot of people do. Yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
the-
Like, we've
the
been conditioned
safety,
to believe we haven't been contacted by aliens. That's the official narrative.
especially with religious people,
Yeah.
because then that's going to blow their mind. Like if they have to now contend with this other thing, if like
Yeah.
God created Earth and this is all it is, and they're focused on this, and they're like, what? There's aliens?
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
worse-
at that point, I guess God created the aliens too, right? But
Well, and or whatever. You're right. Well,
or they would think the aliens are angels, I guess,
right,
or something.
which I think happened in
yeah.
previous centuries. I believe they've been coming here for eons, and just like scientists coming in and experimenting or watching
Yeah.
different species, different intentions, some benevolent, some malevolent.
Hmm.
Like the reptilians in particular are definitely malevolent,
But they're like from
cold-hearted.
Earth.
It depends. Alpha Draconis is
Like we're their
allegedly.
pets essentially. Like they're the
It depends what you want to believe.
they predate us.
Yeah, allegedly. They allegedly the reptilians come
That was
from.
the final form of the dinosaur, was the humanoid.
It depends. There's different theories.
Yeah.
It's anyone's best guess.
Yeah.
What I've been told, or I mean, yeah, there's some that the dinosaurs evolved and then went under the ground or something.
Yeah, underground. Yeah.
Yeah, or they came allegedly from Alpha Draconis, which is a star system. I don't know how far away, but allegedly, yeah, they've been around since God knows how long, and they just take over different, galaxies or whatnot, and they can shapeshift when they feed on people or whatever. But but with Tesla, so it's just weird that he's like focused on electric cars when that's like not really an answer to anything, because you have to mine the lithium and all this bullshit,
Yeah.
and then like if the power grids go out, like you're fucked. California was trying to implement, and even in Canada, I saw something recently that the Liberals want like by 2035.
Yeah, phase out the gas cars.
Yeah,
completely,
everything's
yeah.
got to be electric. But then California, this I think it was like a year or two ago, when they were trying to implement, like they're saying by 2030 or something, everything has to be electric. That summer that they're announcing
It's
that.
pretty soon.
Oh yeah, it's real soon. But that summer they're like making a big noise about this. They had the power grids were all strained, and with like the amount of electric cars that were there, and that's not even like a fraction of having all of them on this grid. So it's like you guys are already like you're trying to sell this idea, and
Doesn't scale.
the few that have it now are like pissed off, and rightfully so. But do you know?
It takes a lot of power. Like each EV plug is like way beyond a stove plug.
Right,
Right?
yeah,
Because they
that
can,
big.
with these special plugs, they can charge the car in like, 15, 20 minutes or something. Whereas normally you have to keep it plugged in for 8 hours or
Right,
4 hours if you have a stove plug or something like that.
right.
But on these special super fast chargers, so it must be an insane amount of energy going
Yeah.
into these chargers.
Yeah, it seems absurd to try to have everyone running on that.
Yeah.
But do you know who was tasked with categorizing all of Tesla's laboratory?
No.
This is insane, and you're not even. You don't have to believe it, but you can Google it. It's fucking. It's funny how things, like the same kind of people are meddling in various things, or the same bloodlines or whatever.
Yeah.
So whenever Tesla died, the U.S. government confiscated his labs, and John Trump was tasked with categorizing what they took from his labs. Fuck? It was actually Donald Trump's uncle. He was like a physicist or something.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I heard that. Like, that's not real. And I Googled it, and there's multiple sources saying, yeah, John Trump like was tasked with categorizing his lab. So, wow, okay, that's interesting. What the hell? A weird bit of information.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you very well could be from some influential bloodline or something.
well, and even with the Bushes, and it's funny that some bloodlines come, and then if you've seen some of the family trees from like people related to like kings from like England.
Yeah, and they're all Freemasons up until a certain
Like
point or
Brad
something.
Pitt was like a fifth cousin of Obama that was related to like
Yeah.
it's like King Charlemagne or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird.
It's all back to Charlemagne.
Or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Or Henry the Fourth or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. I don't know.
Genghis Khan.
Maybe. Well, yeah, he fucked probably the most amount of people.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like, wasn't it like a record? Like Genghis Khan banged like
200 kids,
something like that. I don't know. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I remember hearing about
150
it before.
baby mama.
Or more. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, but apparently he like wanted to spread his seed like
Yeah.
as much as he could. So
Yeah, we're all cons.
I guess. Yeah. Gone.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, the world's a fucked up place, man. We're like on the brink of something incredible, but it could be like very evil and like a new form of slavery that the chip in your hand you can't buy or sell like it says in the Bible, the end times until you have the mark of the beast. Or it could end up going in the other direction, but that would take a massive like revolution, and like I don't think people are prepared. They don't really know enough,
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
information's suppressed, right?
And it's breads and circuses, right? Keep them distracted. Oh, the football. Everyone gets into football
Yeah.
or whatever. but then they don't care about some jackass that's
Existential crisis.
yeah scamming you and like
Until
of
it's too late.
your pension or whatever. You're not, and it's like dwindling or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't get angry about that, or in the same centralized way, like, well, let's go down to Parliament and drag them out, these treasonous, traitors.
January 6th.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing about that though is like, if you want to believe the official narrative that is this deadly insurrection, and you want to play into like the fear mongering of like the media, this far right, the Nazi far right that's coming in, right? Because they always paint Trump. Everyone hates Trump as far right. They're all supposed to be gun fanatics, and no one brought a gun. You're trying to take over the government. No one brought a gun. When you find that, like, it's a whole, like, it's the same with like 9/11 and a lot of these other things. Like, there's a few holes
That's
in the
smoking
story.
gun is the
Well,
no gun.
it's just like, if they were trying to do it, I think it was just a riot.
Yeah.
There was some feds that were planted, like Ray Epps.
Well, they were like letting them in too,
Yeah,
right? Like they
yeah,
were like
yeah.
giving them a tour,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, you guys are all here, might as well come in.
Yeah, and apparently they shot rubber bullets into the crowd, and that got them agitated. And yeah, some dumb morons started a riot, and yes, it was a riot.
Yeah.
And yes, some people deserve to go to jail for fighting cops or whatever. Hell yeah.
The Q shaman.
But it wasn't an insurrection. I don't know about him. I mean, he was just wandering around and maybe put his legs on a desk or something. But like,
Yeah, they made an example out of him.
but just like, if you were like, if that was an insurrection, I'd expect some fucking gunpowder
Yeah, it's weird. Eh?
there, because it wasn't an insurrection. I don't think so. I don't know where you stand on that, but I think it's horseshit.
Guy Fawkes.
Because, well, how come if they were that serious, there would have been like a shootout? There would have been.
Yeah, it's weird.
If they were really trying to insurrect the government and take over, and they are far right, and the whole stereotype is they love guns. They're rednecks with guns, and no one brought a gun.
I guess it's not an open carry state.
That doesn't keep people from shooting.
Yeah.
Like, it's a wishful thinking.
concealed carry or
Please
whatever it is.
don't bring a gun. But like, if criminals are going to bring guns regardless.
Yeah.
But no, it's just funny how the media just twists things and whatever, and just pushes like a narrative. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of people need to wake up and like see. It's kind of like They Live. You see that movie?
I can't remember.
He puts on the glasses. And, and obey, and
Yeah.
So a lot of the aliens or whatever, they look like skeletons.
So
or
I
something.
found that obey sign. It's on the Sobeys. If you take out the two S's, it says obey.
Oh.
It's weird, eh? There's no apostrophe. There's no S's. It's just two squiggly lines, and then it says obey right in the center.
Wow,
It's super
wow,
weird.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look at that next time.
Yeah.
Whether or not like there's what do they call it?
I think there is symbols like
logos,
that
symbols,
hidden in plain view, like
symbols.
Walmart. Backwards could be Mart law, martial law. There's all these weird things everywhere if you think about it. But I mean,
and then the Starbucks.
that's just pattern
lady.
recognition, right?
Right. Yeah, it could be a coincidence, and there can be coincidences for sure. But sometimes it's like, oh, that's a little too on the
Bit
nose.
weird, yeah. Yeah, a bit on the
Like
nose,
if some things are like a little too on the nose, or it's like,
yeah.
there could be something more. But yeah, just in terms of the media, though, it seems like, especially through COVID, how many lies and whatever there and everything. Like
that was insane.
I wish it would have woke more people up.
Remember we were like washing our groceries and stuff?
Yeah.
Like it was so excessive, and we were all just like, okay, like you want us to do this, and then
The one thing that like completely
kept changing the goalposts.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
2 weeks
this.
to slow the spread.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's just this. It's just that.
Oh, but we can't mention the C word. Or...
Right. Or are you gonna get like?
No, we're not monetizing yet.
One of the biggest things with that like triggered my like alert alarm was like with COVID in particular was when they kept like pushing like you can't see your girlfriend, you can't see your
can't go
grandma,
visit grandma. Yeah.
right? But right as they're saying that, George Floyd happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally the next week, thousands of people can march.
Yeah.
And I get that like you're marching for justice, whatever. But like, sorry, I thought there was a deadly virus. Like the virus isn't political. Like it doesn't matter if like you're marching for the most peaceful thing or
Yeah.
So there's literally it was like next week.
I remember that being a weird juxtaposition.
And
There.
I was like,
yeah.
okay, and that after that I was like, this. Is
Remember all the weird
bullshit.
stuff about George Floyd being like a doll and stuff like that, and like they had the fake George Floyd footage, and there's like a dummy on the ground. I don't know. I was watching some weird stuff at that time.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see anything like that.
It was weird. A lot of
What,
weird
where
stuff.
some people were claiming it was fake?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
that's, no.
Like, here's a video picking him up, but his arm stayed on the ground. Why is the arm there, or whatever? Like something
Oh,
like that. Like as if it was like a crash test dummy, sort of. It was a very weird situation.
I don't know if you watched like the entire 10 or 20 minute interaction, but I did. And
Yeah, I remember
I'm
that stuff
sure
too.
he
Yeah,
definitely died. I don't think it
yeah,
was a dummy, but yeah, it's just like the right after that is like, hold up, like then this isn't as deadly as you guys kept saying a week ago. And then from there on out, I was just questioning everything, and even locally, I remember the one of the at one point the news was saying some hospital in Selkirk was like filled to the brim, and doctors
yeah.
are meeting them in the parking
And
lot.
the people brought cameras there,
Yeah,
and
and
the
then some
hospital's
lady
empty.
walked through. Yeah,
But they had an excuse for that. They said, "Well, this isn't what we C-19 we call it.
yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
the C-19 hospital. This is the urgent care. That's the emergency. This one's the C-19." So they had their reasons why this hospital was empty.
But then it's the news fault, whether it's
Yeah,
CTV or whatever, CBC. But I remember like it was a news segment claiming, "Oh, it's full, da da da,
yeah,
fear, fear, fear,"
yeah,
and then lady goes in, it's all empty, no one's in the parking lot filming everything, it's
yeah.
all ghost town. There's just so many little examples of that. It was like, oh,
I could see Rebel News doing that one.
but maybe, but there was just a lady that was like
Yeah,
wanted to be like this, going
yeah,
for herself, show everybody.
yeah,
And there's so many examples of like that just the world is just so fucky. But long story short, I guess like I hope like at some point soon people can realize that like they're lying to us all the time. Like you have to just decipher how much of a lie it is, or what angle they're trying to push. Like the media is trying so hard to divide everybody, to bringing racism back like in every single corner, that even when there's nothing, and the sexism and the gender, like all this stuff, they're just trying so hard to keep everyone distracted and fighting each other.
yeah. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, and as soon as we can just see beyond that like, okay, hold up, like the story is that the whole context, or is it, you know, because so many people like my mom and I think like older generations still believe the news is like telling you the truth,
Yep.
because like maybe in their day it actually was pretty decent.
That was the way you got news.
Yeah, and it was more or less like showing you the whole story, maybe,
Yeah. And everyone's got their echo chamber now too, right?
oh, and yeah, that's bad too. But just the mainstream news, I don't trust any of them. It's only independent people that aren't being funded by something that's got like, because if the same company that owns that news station owns like Raytheon and whatever, oh, they're like, oh yeah, we have to go to war. Oh, you gotta do this. Like the funniest thing with CNN, there's a compilation I've shared on Facebook a while ago. Is like all of these segments from, I think it's mostly CNN, but there's probably some other ones too. Whereas like at the end or at the start of the segment is like brought to you by Pfizer. It's like and then they're like, oh,
Oh, they made tons of money.
yeah,
huh?
yeah, COVID's so bad. Yeah, and you get your shots and like brought to you by Pfizer. It's like, hold on, is this like, am I watching the news or is this
Yeah.
like a commercial?
Or who was saying Trudeau made a ton of money? Was that you saying that? Like
Yeah. Apparently he
Trudeau made like $10 million or something.
in like
and-
the nanolipids or something. He was invested in one of the companies
Yeah.
that was producing them in BC. I think with Trudeau, we were just like one or two steps away from the camps. Like
Yeah.
if they could keep it going, and like with the whole passport stuff, how ridiculous that was. You had to
Yeah.
show your thing to get into a fucking restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
This was a weird time if you really think about it. And like, if only and I bet he wanted so bad to keep going, because then like just one or two more steps, remove him from the,
That's the totalitarian
Get 'em
tiptoe,
in the
right?
camps.
You go as far as you can until the people revolt, then you back off a little bit.
and it kind of
And
faded.
then you push a
again.
little bit further, you
Right.
back off a little bit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. The totalitarian tiptoe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, is that what it's called? Yeah. He was definitely itching to remove certain people from society, and if only he got his way. But
Well, those camps probably still exist, right?
yeah. Apparently they are in.
They've been
the
building
FEMA
them slowly,
camps,
yeah.
Yeah, that allegedly are waiting
They're ready.
for the right moment to
Yeah.
stockpile people.
hmm
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do to fix it? Make some movies?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, like, what the hell am I even doing? I should just be saving my money to prep. Like, I
Yeah.
want to get a bug out bag this year,
Yeah.
and like, I need to definitely invest in like basic solar battery chargers.
Yeah.
Because even if everything goes out and hopefully there's not EMP, I can like skip town and at least be able to charge things.
That's one of our long-term goals, like have a cabin, outside
Yeah.
the city, something like that.
Yeah.
Little A-frame.
But you might be shit out of luck if it happens this year, unless you're prepared and you
Yeah.
have savings. Because I wish I would. made smarter decisions to be a millionaire by now, where I could have that property out of town that's got a backup generator, that's got the wood burning stove, solar, rations, canned rations, whatever the hell. So if shit did hit the fan, I could just off for a year, and it doesn't matter what's going on in the city. I'm good. Have a couple of guns for protection.
Just gotta buy some Bitcoin, I guess.
Man, I'm not in that realm of
Not financial advice.
Well, and in that realm of intelligence. I had an app a while ago that was, I forget what it was called, but it was okay.
Like
but
Wealth Simple, or
I don't even know if it's still on my phone, but
yeah,
it was one of those apps where you could buy Ethereum and this and that, or trade or
Shake
whatever.
Pay or whatever.
Yeah, and but I didn't have a lot of money to play with, so my gains weren't that much. It's like, a couple $100.
Yeah,
Could only get a little bit up, a little bit down.
yeah, absolutely.
But if you had a couple grand you could play with, that's play money. I've looked into things that make money online, but that's always like if you figure out a way, you can like hit the jackpot. Like some people are like selling stuff. Like
Yeah,
they don't
people
even-
looking for the 100x gain. Like you
Yeah.
put $1 and you get 100 out, something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Right. Like some people will sell, I don't know the correct term for it, but it's like digital, I don't say digital merch, but it's basically selling something that you don't even have to necessarily produce.
Oh, like drop shipping?
Not even, well, there's that, but like selling, like online, I don't want to say like cookbooks or whatever, or things where there's not a physical copy.
Okay.
You-
Ebooks.
Yeah, I guess ebooks, but and even like drawing books for kids where they can buy it, they can print it off, so you're not even handling anything.
Digital assets.
Yeah, digital assets essentially. And I've seen some videos of YouTubers talking and showing their accounts, so they made this much. And
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of ads like that. Like, oh, you can do it too. Just buy my plan.
right, no, it
Yeah.
wasn't one of those. It was actual YouTube channels where they
Yeah.
were showing the steps, but like it's still like an iffy thing to jump into. But that would be phenomenal if you did find a way to just make money online.
Yeah, like some people are making AI generated art and then selling that to like a stock photo website.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you can look at what's the highest paying type of art that's getting bought,
right,
and you could try to make more of that kind of stuff.
right,
Yeah, Amber showed me some videos like that.
right.
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to invest the time into that.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
a whole thing,
focus.
yeah.
That, like it would be phenomenal because like who wouldn't want to just make money while you're asleep?
Yeah.
If you have something that's just running, or you get in the right kind of marketing and you're selling stuff when you're asleep, like it's on auto, that'd be wild.
Well, it depends where you put your attention, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like-
there's only so much time in the day, and I got a 9 to 5 job, and I'm on a hamster wheel, perpetual.
It sounds to me like with the films, like you have a message and you're trying to get it out to people, and,
Yeah.
and you're trying to wake people up,
Yeah,
and you're trying to raise awareness about what you're concerned about, right?
yeah. I'd like to, in more ways than one. Like during COVID, we wrote I'm the guy that writes everything, but like a few things that were related to COVID, and we never wound up filming like a prediction of what it'd be like in 5 years and how ridiculous things are going to be with like the code, like the passports and all this bullshit.
Yeah,
But we did do one though called the Jabberwocky.
I remember this one. Yeah,
It was pretty
you
shitty.
got the
though.
jab. Yeah,
Yeah, because like we didn't have proper lighting and there's issues with the camera, but like at least we made it. But
Yeah.
because you can have an idea, but until you actually make it, like it's just an idea.
well, it gets better every time, right? Like I
Yeah.
remember, even looking back to the couple podcasts I did a couple years ago, it looks terrible, you know.
Right.
And my production level keeps getting better, and it's still not perfect, obviously, but
Right.
uh,
Well, you gotta
it's getting better and better, right?
Yep.
So
you gotta start somewhere.
yeah, that's all you can do.
A lot of those people that are big now, like the one thing that pretty much all of them unanimously say is like just keep going,
Keep at
going.
it, yeah.
I've almost quit so many times where I thought like, oh, what am I doing? Like this isn't working. Like we're not getting the subs I wanted or whatever. But you just have to keep going, honestly, because otherwise you're not going to get better, and then you might end up being middle aged and with no success. And had you only stuck to it when you're a bit younger, you know what I mean? Like it's
I see even like a lot of like big creators, they have to start a side channel for their other project, and that channel, it's only got less than 1,000 subscribers, but they keep putting the same energy into it, and it grows because of it. And
yeah.
so you gotta just keep at it and make high quality content, I guess, right?
And eventually you should get better unless you're friggin' moron.
Yeah,
you know what I
unless
mean?
you're
Like,
stagnating.
you should
But
eventually. everyone's
you've
gonna
got
get
Tim now. That's like
Yeah,
a big step up.
better. He's a huge asset.
Yeah.
We need just a few more people with the team because like pretty much for all the internet astronaut stuff, like I'll come up with the idea, I write
Mhm.
it, then I try to find locations and I cast it, then I pay for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And if we had a few more doing this, it could advance more. But
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative of everyone that does show up, and help out. But I feel like the overall product has suffered because I'm wearing too many hats.
Yeah.
And if you can't just focus on directing, because like you have to do this, you have to do that, and you have to do
Yeah.
that, then you're not
You
actually
gotta delegate
directing.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I'm still in that like stratosphere. But like it could go up to the next level where then I just have to talk to the actors, like,
Mhm.
and you have a production manager and all these other things that are dealing with.
Have you worked in like traditional film at all?
It was a while ago, and I'm on the verge of trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
But the problem with jumping into that realm and in Winnipeg, where it's not always guaranteed and steady, is that it's not always guaranteed and steady. So you could be on a like
That's
a
what Greg is dealing with. It's like, oh, it's busy now. It's not.
yeah. And if you're smart, you could hopefully save a nest egg or whatever so that you can float for the 2 months until you get it again. But it's not like, the guaranteed every 2 weeks I get to check. So I completed 6 courses for DGC and IATSE. They're like prerequisite set etiquette.
Okay.
Some bullshit courses that, are relevant, I suppose, because you should sort of know what you're getting into when you go on a film set.
I need to do those.
Yeah, it's not hard, and it's open book, and you
Okay.
pretty much just pay the thing and just do it in an afternoon where you kind of cheat, like, but
Yeah.
it's designed that way, but you're still learning.
Mhm.
But then then to make that leap where, like, there's a certain amount of things I have to be guaranteed to pay each month, and if I don't maintain that float, there's problems. But we are looking into actually doing wedding videography,
Okay.
because if you do even just 1 or 2 of those a month, that's a couple of grand.
Yeah.
One of the things that's kind of interesting.
Tim does the wedding DJ, right?
Yeah. I used to be a wedding DJ too.
Yeah.
But even just like video,
Yeah.
you could get a couple of grand, and if like me and my girlfriend are on the verge of getting into that, because she works for someone who has clients that sometimes do that, and if we go a little bit cheaper than everyone else to start,
Yeah.
then we can get more work, and then you build the rapport and blah
Absolutely.
blah blah.
Yeah.
So we're considering seriously considering trying to do that, as well as the film industry, as well as making our own independent films, which fingers crossed could lead to making money.
Yeah.
But one thing that's kind of funny with wedding videos, have you ever heard of a father of the bride doing like a video? I should just explain what we did, because I've heard of this happening, but before we did it, but I've never seen one at a wedding before. Essentially, we were contacted by a friend of Greg's who's got a fair amount of money. He's got his own like welding company or something, and he wanted to do a video for his daughter that would be shown at her wedding. So basically, he has a gift that he was going to give her, this teddy bear that was sentimental from when she was a baby or whatever, and she hadn't seen it in years. And so that was going to be his gift at the wedding. But when he goes to do the speech, he was going to say like, "Oh, I forgot the thing. I got to go." And he runs out, and then the lights go down, show the movie, or the movie that we filmed 2 months earlier.
Yeah. I think I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun because he had resources. Like he had access
Oh yeah.
to a plane, to a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
lots
Greg
of
was
fun.
telling me about this.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun, and he paid us $2,000.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work though, but super fun.
That's awesome.
And I actually got to go there to film her reaction,
Yeah.
and it was really cool to see a live audience reacting to the moments that I thought they would. Like it was kind of like a ego check, I guess. That
Yeah.
like, oh, that part was funny, and I thought it was gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Everyone's laughing. Like yes, that was kind of neat to like actually see them like appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it was a really badass, hilarious thing to do. No one was expecting it, and then he comes back like a champ with the teddy bear and gives it to her, and she's crying and out of pure happiness. One thing on a side note, as a DJ, I know you've DJ'd a lot, but it's different, I guess, at raves and festivals. When you're at a wedding, I guess it's slightly more personal because they're requesting songs.
Yeah. To the open format.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then so you're catering to that. And I remember one of the best moments of my life was actually at a wedding where I was just on a roll. Like they had a few requests, but then like I knew their flavor, so I was just giving them song after song after song.
Yeah.
And I guess I was hitting it right. That like like the bride was crying out of like sheer happiness
Yeah.
because the song brought her back to whatever the days
Yeah.
were, and she's all around her friends, and then they're all kind of crying and singing along, and then the next song came, and I guess it was exactly what they wanted, and like I get goosebumps thinking about that. Like that was one of the greatest moments to give someone that much happiness. That like, and here I am, they don't know I'm even there, but I'm like
Yeah.
in the shadows, it's like, oh, they like that one, they're like, oh, little this.
Like 90s hip hop or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like top 40s, Spice Girls, Informer, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. Like,
That was like my first favorite song, Informer.
oh yeah, you know what's funny? I didn't know
I like
it,
memorized the words back in the day.
even
yeah.
I think
Somebody can play 'em.
I
Yeah.
think yeah,
I mean, I was totally butchering it back then.
right.
Yeah.
But did you know that guy was actually kind of hardcore?
I can imagine, yeah.
I saw an interview though, just like a few days ago. It's funny you mentioning this.
Didn't he become like heavy metal or something? Like, no, that was Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice kind of
Yeah,
went
yeah.
that direction, but
Snow did something different.
he when he made that song and made the video, he was in New York like illegally or something because he's from Toronto.
Okay.
And then he wound up getting busted because he was like a thief.
They put them at the Poptica at the station.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but get this, he was in jail at the time that they premiered Informer on
Wow.
like MTV or something. So he said that like the whole like
And the song was about getting busted too, so it wasn't the first time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like the whole yard or whatever the hell, like or the wing that he was in,
Yeah.
knew that it was coming up because it was a premiere at
That's
6.
big clout.
Yeah, at 6 o'clock or yeah, and so like
Yeah.
he was recounting that like how like awesome it was and like weird that like he was in jail and all his homies were watching him sing.
Yeah.
I thought he was a phony at the like it's kind of fun song, but like
Yeah.
everyone's saying like even Jim Carrey on In Living Color did that song Imposter.
Okay.
And he's making fun of him, saying he's this
Yeah.
white boy, whatever the hell. But no, he legit like boosted cars and was like a drug dealer and
I can
whatever.
imagine. Yeah.
But
Even snow means like cocaine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
but also he's white, so there's
Yeah,
double
I
meaning.
guess there's
That's
that,
kind of
yeah.
neat. But yeah, he was actually like legit, and then he saw his song in jail. But then he got released shortly after.
Yeah.
But that was just an interesting, random thing. And it was weird. Only a few days ago, I saw an interview.
Yeah.
Vlad TV, if you've seen that guy. Does
An interview with Snow or
Yeah, well, it's called, I think, Vlad TV.
or
Or
who's
something.
Vlad TV?
This guy does like a lot of like neat interviews with musicians and stuff
Okay.
and rappers in particular, but like long form interviews.
Yeah.
So you get to know them more. And yeah, it was
Kind of like
interesting.
this.
Yeah, it was like this. Yeah, yeah. You can start your own like Vlad TV.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we've already started it. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll keep going. Yeah.
Well, are you going to try to interview like other like DJs in the city?
I hadn't
and-
thought about it. Yeah, like we haven't done an episode of this in like 2 years or something. It
Yeah.
was something I just did during COVID.
Yeah, pass the time, and
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe this is the start of a second season.
you should try.
I got some ideas for the film industry stuff, though, like some people to introduce you to and stuff who are working in film.
Oh,
Maybe
I'd
you know
love
them
to.
already, but yeah,
Okay,
just
yeah.
In terms of expanding the team. I know a couple people who do different things.
Like after the fact, you want to?
Well, I know a wardrobe guy. I know a director.
Oh.
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
couple ideas we'll talk about after.
Yeah, we definitely need a costume person.
Yeah, I got a wardrobe guy.
Because like there's even one film that I really want to make called Killer Geese from Canada.
Yeah, you were telling me about
Yeah,
this
it
one.
would be a pretty silly concept. It's completely absurd, but everyone's had a negative encounter with a Canadian goose at some
Yeah.
point. And to make them like, it's like a new breed of geese,
Yeah.
but that would involve a couple of puppets. There's some CGI. With
Almost need another trucker protest to make it relevant again, though.
Well, with the honking.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I still want to, hopefully this gets made, but there's so many things to do to get to there. But I want it to be like a Canadiana film where it's like heavily emphasized. We're in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and have different, stereotypes from Canada. So of course, at some point when things escalate with the goose attacks, you got to have a prime minister show up. So I was going to deep fake Justin Trudeau doing like a speech
Yeah.
in downtown Winnipeg, and like not to go off too much into this, but like as you might expect, as he's up there, he's more concerned about like the gender imbalance of like the geese, like, and he's pledging to donate billions of dollars to like geese preservation sites, or like the complete opposite. Like what he should do, and he's not like concerned about like people, and he's just like the dialogue's pretty funny, and then he starts hearing like some honking,
Yeah.
and like it's a truck just passing by, but he's starting to get scared.
Yeah.
And but then the culmin like the buildup of like there's gonna be goose vision to kind of see like when a goose is getting closer to someone.
Yeah.
You know, and without like showing the goose too much, you don't want to jump the shark.
Yeah.
You know, but if you see the vision, oh, now he's getting closer, and he's closer, and so it would be so funny that like with the honking of these horns just randomly, it's not even they're protesting, but it's just your downtown Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Honk, honk. But like the geese honk. And like the two of them are getting close as he's trying to like do the speech, and he's starting to sweat, whatever. And then finally it gets to the point where like the goose is behind him, and he turns around, and the goose like grabs him by the dick and pulls him off the stage.
Yeah.
It's just be so funny. The crowd's kind of clapping, like they indifferent, like.
I bet I could make some of that stuff using like Midjourney and Runway ML. Like I made the other day when Justin Trudeau was stuck in Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
I made a Midjourney image of Justin Trudeau like with a broken plane in Jamaica, and it looked like true to life. And he's like dancing, and I wrote when the plane broke out, something silly. But what you can do is like take that image and then put it into Runway ML, and you can animate it.
Right.
Or you can do like these slow pans or zooms and stuff, yeah, you can do different things to make it like people blinking or whatever, right?
I've seen some for the trailers.
Yeah, you can do the trailers. Yeah, exactly. But
like Paul S. Anderson
yeah,
movies or whatever.
there is some room to actually, put that in actual movies and stuff.
We were just gonna deep fake
Yeah.
because
Well, deepfake's probably way harder though, isn't it?
my buddy claims that I think it was Mark. That
He's got the program that can do it.
Yeah, he was very confident that, especially because there's not a lot of. He's not like
Okay.
running and walking. He'd just
Yeah.
be standing there and talking, and
Yeah.
we had an actor that looks a lot like him. We could even just use as.
Yeah, I haven't figured out the deepfake thing. Like I've downloaded the like deepfake app or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like on the computer, like looked at it, but I haven't got too much into it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, me neither. But it's out there, and every month passes, it gets more advanced.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think like within a year, it's like just a little couple.
Well, yeah,
buttons.
a lot of them have like a phone app, but
Yeah.
there's like a paywall.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like if you use the computer app, it's free half the time.
Oh okay.
Like Stable Diffusion, for example, like you can just run it on your computer for free.
Right.
You can do anything with it, but you can get a phone version. But it's like they want $3.99. They'll give you 40 photos, and
Right.
you know what I mean.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's like an idea I think about a lot. Like all these different developers making these phone apps,
Right.
and they're making money off these like microtransactions.
Right.
I don't know. There's got to be some way to do that, but do it for cheaper. I don't know. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know.
App development.
Yeah.
I gotta
There's
hire
an
a team.
app for that.
Yeah. Yeah, the new saying is there's a coin for that. Like it used to be there's an app for that. Now there's like a million different crypto coins.
Oh yeah.
Anything you could think of, there's like a coin for that now.
And do you think like crypto? Like I don't even understand the blockchain and
Yeah.
thing, but like allegedly it's like uncrackable or like I don't get it.
Well, yeah, there's like this algorithm that it would take you like millions of years to crack it, like brute force or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's still some uncertainty whether or not quantum computing will be able to
Right.
just skip all that.
Right.
But then the argument is that, well, they'll just release an update that's quantum computer proof
Right.
at that point. So we'll see.
Right.
But, there may come a time when, billions of dollars are just evaporated because quantum computers were able to do something that we never
Right.
expected. So it's still a bit up in the air, I'd say. But
Yeah.
I think money talks, and a lot of the smartest people in the world and the biggest money in the world is putting their money into those things, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Because with central banks, I guess there's not as much.
I mean, it's unlikely like a quantum computer would be able to do that, but
Yeah.
we have no idea what's coming
Right.
in the future. Like, with an AI singularity,
Right.
it could be solving Nobel Prize winning discoveries every second.
Do you mean the point of singularity?
Yeah, like that's how it's described, right? Like there'd be Nobel Prize winning discoveries every
Right.
couple seconds.
Right.
And
That's
it just speeds up to the point where we're like, an interplanetary species in like 10 minutes or something
Right.
crazy, right? Like,
they were saying 2050, but it keeps moving.
yeah, it
closer.
keeps moving closer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like 2040, and it's like 2035. Like
yeah.
that's insane. But to think that like okay, at that point when they're smarter than us, and then they keep going, it's not
Yeah.
just they're a bit smarter. It's like, and then they go like this, like straight up.
Yeah.
Where every 5 seconds there's another because they're just learning and learning. That's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Just how the world's gonna change.
Getting close though. Like, I mean,
Like-
ChatGPT has really changed the game last year.
we're gonna
going into a crazy year here. Like, who knows what the world's gonna look like in 2025?
yeah,
Right?
it's crazy, and it's
Yeah.
only a few years. But then imagine, yeah, 2030, 2040.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to fathom, but yeah, we just gotta go one day at a time, 1 year at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be a wild year.
it's like
2024, baby.
anyone's best guess.
Yeah,
Because how long would they tolerate us?
yeah,
Especially if we give them bodies and this and that, and they're walking around or whatever, or they link up to the central grid of whatever the fuck,
hmm
and then they have access to everything that we need.
yeah.
I don't know. That's frightening. Because why would they tolerate us? Like, we're stubborn, like
Well, I mean, we're
annoying.
we're assuming a lot about them at that
Right,
point, though. We're
right.
assuming that they're like us in any way. Like,
Right.
they might have a completely different set of
Right.
values, or they might have the exact same values because we programmed them to. Like,
But then if
it's,
they keep
it's
learning,
really hard to say what it's gonna look like, though.
Right.
But yeah, we're like apes trying to figure out what the aliens are doing. Like, we just can't comprehend them at all, right?
yeah,
So
it's wild to think about. Though, honestly, it keeps me up sometimes.
yeah,
And then I take melatonin and
yeah.
try to chill out. And
Yeah, I just try to interact with it and try to understand it so it's not too all at once.
yeah,
Like, I don't want to be 10 years down the road and go, okay, now I have to learn about
right,
crypto and AI and it's
Right.
already way too late.
Yeah.
I'd rather start while it's just beginning
yeah,
and get my hands dirty
Right.
and okay, and I'm learning that and now I'm learning this. And by the time it gets too
Right.
complex, I've already got a good
Right.
baseline of
because
understanding.
otherwise people will be left behind that
Yeah.
don't like get on the bandwagon.
Well, it's like I've friends trying to learn computers nowadays,
Mm,
and they didn't learn computers 20 years ago when it was maybe simpler,
mhm.
and now it's just like this whole mess. They're like, I have no idea. Like, where do
Yeah.
I start? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with like some seniors. Like my grandma would not touch a computer because it's just too far. Like she's
Yeah.
not going to try and learn now.
But then there's some seniors who are like computer engineers.
That's true
And
too.
it
Yeah,
depends on
that's true.
what you chose to do with your life, right?
Right. No, that's true.
Because the grandma's probably amazing at something else, right?
Yeah, she's a nurse.
Yeah.
But just from older generations, it's like if you,
Yeah, it's more on average for sure, though.
yeah. But it's weird the kids that are being raised with iPads
Oh.
because they're going to be whole
So
other
rough. Yeah.
right. Like their handle on technology is going to be bananas.
Yeah, you take away the iPad and they cry. Give it back.
Right. And their social skills are going to be garbage. Like that's going to be weird to see how they grow up.
Yeah.
That like
I don't know what that generation's called. There's like
there's alpha.
Gen
now.
Z and
The new one's Gen Alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah.
We're resetting the clock.
Yeah, and I guess it'll go beta after you could presume.
Oh, that's too bad.
And
They
I
gotta
would-
skip right over beta, I guess.
Well, it seems like
It's kind of
going
unfair to call a
AB.
whole generation alphas, right?
It's kind of absurd. Like,
Yeah,
what?
they should have skipped straight to epsilon or something at that point.
I guess they're just resetting. I mean,
Gamma.
it's weird to think that what were the older generation. I guess they didn't even have names for them because people are just trying to survive.
Yeah, it was baby boomers. And,
no, but before that, because we only,
yeah, we
before
didn't
20th
need
century.
we didn't need terms before that.
Yeah, because people are just trying to survive.
That was just called dad.
I guess.
Yeah,
Or you're this person or that. You're German. You're
yeah.
English. That's your
Tom's son.
whatever generation.
Yeah. So any final thoughts here?
Yeah, we've been talking a while. I guess just I hope enough people will just start to open their minds and their eyes, just like realize that if you just realize that you're not being told the truth all the time, and you can just at least be open-minded to and try to find the truth, because the news, the media, the politicians, they all have their certain agendas, and it's getting so much more divided, right, left.
Can we get news in Canada now? Like, can I go on Facebook and get news, or is it still banned?
I don't know. I haven't.
I think they had an agreement finally. Eh?
I have a VPN, so I'm
Okay,
I'm in Atlanta right now.
nice. I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, but or I could be in Tokyo later tonight. I don't know, but yeah,
See where the night takes us.
I got a VPN. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just hope that enough people start to wake up and realize that they need to start using their critical thinking again, and
Mhm.
not just fall in line, and just hopefully be the best that you can be. As always, speak the truth as you know it, and try to treat others as you'd want to be treated. It's like the oldest, sort of moral point to stand on, or I don't know if that makes sense.
And what can we look forward to in terms of films coming out or
Yeah.
or
Oh,
pieces coming
yeah.
out?
So, well, a real quick thing. One of the things I realized recently was you can make the most money with a feature film, especially if you have them on streaming sites or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the more length you have, the more ads they can fit, the more money you can make. So a short film, you're limited to how much you can make.
Yeah.
And we know a guy in California that did the Zombie Rage thing that just pumps out shitty movies. Like they're B movies and he knows it, but he's making money. And I don't know to what extent, like he's told me before it was like a couple thousand a month he can stay afloat from all these crappy movies be on there. But if you make a good movie, you can make more. So long story short, I was trying to think like how could you get to a feature film when you don't have a big budget yet? And I don't want to do something shitty like him where it's just there's no script and you can tell like there's no
Just pumping them out all the time.
yeah, because he'll do like one long take, you know, and there's no cuts, so obviously they're just winging it on the fly, and
Yeah.
you can tell, and it doesn't. So the concept we come up with, it's going to be a movie called Lighter Up.
Okay.
And it's following a lighter from person to person to person, jumping in and out of different people's lives,
Yeah.
but in sort of an absurdist way. And it's also building the lore. Like we've kind of created our own cinematic universe where different characters kind of come back and in and out of things, especially Don Vito,
Oh yeah.
our crime
exactly.
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, this movie could be shot on random weekends throughout the whole year with no central cast, so you don't have to feel like you got to pay them because we need you for 7 days straight.
Yeah.
Well, you got to pay them then at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if Buddy comes out for a weekend, well, 1 or 2 days, it's no big deal. We've been able to do that so far.
Yeah.
Have people commit for 1 or 2 days, not a big deal. While there's an interesting set of sequences going on. So yeah, basically we're trying to do a cheat sheet where we could get a feature film out of kind of telling a bunch of short stories, but the singular point is this lighter that, because you know, like sometimes you find a lighter, you
Yeah.
lose a
Yeah.
lighter.
Exactly. Classic
We're gonna
Winnipeg
get
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then to make it interesting, like in normal life, it's mundane. Oh, you smoked it for the bowl, or
Yeah.
you had a lighter for a smoke. And if you did 2 or 3 of those in a row, it's going to get boring. So each one has to be kind of dramatically different from the other. And the first sequence starts with a mob boss torturing a guy, and then to find out who put him in jail, and Don Vito's involved, and whatever. So it ends with this guy. His name's Tony Tarantula, who's like Tarantula,
Yeah.
but it's Tony Tarantula.
Yeah.
And he's just got out of prison. He's got to find out from this rat who can put him in jail, and his face is burned from an explosion that you know, who knows where that came from. But then he finds out the rat tells him it's Don Vito, and he kills him with the lighter. He blow torches his face off or whatever.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he steps outside, his cronies are like, "What are we gonna do, boss? We're gonna find and kill Don Vito Cataloni." And then this car pulls up, and it's Vito's crew, and they blast him.
Yeah.
So he drive-by shooting, and Don Vito's like a block away, you know, looking at him, and then the window rolls up, and then he drives up, and then moments later, a couple kids on a bike come by. Oh, cool, buddy! You know, they take the guy's gun. The other kid takes the lighter, and then that goes to the next sequence where they. Oh, I'll just tell one more, but so the kids go under a bridge, and one of the on their bikes, and one of the kids drops the lighter, and then this homeless guy pops up and sees it because he wants to smoke crack or whatever, and then when he goes to the lighter, I wanted to do this on green screen where he thinks he's a wizard, and it's some scepter or something like that. And he's like, oh, the scepter, whatever. And it cuts back to reality. He's smoking crack. But in the hobo's mind, he's like a wizard. And then he's talking to the kids like they're hobbits or whatever. Like, oh, you got to go to the Mordor. And then he thinks he sees like a troll behind him, and he's pretending to like save the kids with his wizard powers.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to reality, and no one's there, and this hobo's just going, whatever.
Yeah.
And the kids just grab the lighter and then continue on. And anyway, I could keep going all day, but I'll just tell you one more. And then so one of the kids, when he goes home with the lighter, his mom is getting ready to go to work, and she's worried about him. He's past his bedtime, and takes his coat off, and you know, go off to bed. And then she sees there's a lighter in his coat, and okay, and she's gonna smoke outside. Puts on her like pink little wig or whatever, busts up. She's actually a hooker. So she goes to work the night, walking through the alleys, gets picked up by someone. And when they go to a motel room, she finds out after he blindfolds her and ties her to the bed, he's the Waterfront Reaper, who's a serial killer in downtown Winnipeg that picks up hookers around Waterfront.
Yeah.
And then so there's a whole sequence with this now, and the lighter's still being used, and so it just goes from like weird scene to weird scene.
Cool.
Not everything's dark. Some is pretty like lighthearted and like silly, but yeah.
When is that coming out?
Well, you haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
I got like half the thing written, and then we got to probably as soon as next month we'd probably try to.
And Zombie Kid's out soon.
Yeah, we're going to try to have that in Frigid Inferno for the first week of February.
Sweet.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah, so 2 short films. Shoot this Princess and the Dragon feature film. That's not my thing, but I'm helping and I'm getting paid. And then try to start this lighter movie.
Hell yeah.
And kind of cheat our way to a feature
Looking
film.
forward to it.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's just a lot of short stories, but this lighter is the continual
Right
thing.
on.
And yeah, I appreciate your time having me
thanks
on
so
here,
much,
man.
John.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks, everybody.